you get amped up for Kadarius Toney or Jamar Chase, any of those guys that you saw work out today?
No, I'll be honest. Like, spoiler alert, Jamar Chase is fast? No way. Spoiler alert, Kadarius Toney's fast? He could have fooled me. Spoiler alert, Kyle Pitts is probably going to be a beast? You don't say. Now, I am surprised that Kyle Pitts and Toney ran in pretty much the exact same 40 time. That's a little crazy. I'm not sure if that says something about Kyle Pitts or more about Kadarius Toney. But these high numbers and everything, they're fun to celebrate, whether it's the vertical, the broad, the 40-yard, or if you want to celebrate the bench press. They're fun to celebrate, but I've seen the film, all right, and I've seen these guys play. That's the most important thing. I know all three of those guys you just mentioned are absolute studs. I don't need 40 times to help reiterate that. I already know.
Yeah, I agree. And you know, I guess we're kind of saying this a lot lately when it comes to these measurables and pro days, and it gets almost a little fatigued on it. But, man, everybody runs a 4.4. I mean, everybody's under a 4.4. I mean, we got linebackers and edge rushers running 4.36, man. Yep. I mean, when do we want to get that out of our – 4.4 is this magical number in our minds. I'm trying to think about, like, you know, it's almost like triple-double in the NBA. You know, a triple-double in the NBA used to be a big thing. Well, it's not anymore. It happens all the time. I mean, Russell Westbrook just had 35 points and 21 assists in a triple-double.
T.J. McConnell had one. Like, as soon as he had one, it seemed like the whole prestige of a triple-double went right out the window.
Yeah, so, you know, it's kind of in that realm. And by the way, I wish I ran a 4.4. And I know 4.4 is still fast. But it's almost like 4.4, if you don't run that, we're going to hammer you. If you do run it, we don't even applaud you. You know, I mean, are we getting fatigued on 4.4 and 40 times because there's so many good ones?
Maybe like the Twitter world is, but listen, if you're a scout or you're a coach and you see a guy put up a 4.4 and you see it in person now, whether or not it's, you know, electronically timed, hand timed, like if you're there, fast is fast. And if a guy runs a 4.4, you better believe that he has your attention. Your undivided attention, because a 4.4 is absolutely blazing. Like, make no mistakes about it. I feel like there's receivers out there who make deal with a 4.5, you know, and are considered some of the fastest guys or some of the best receivers in the league. So I understand right now at the pro days where it caters to the players, everyone's putting up the 4.3, 4.3, 4.3. That's great. If a guy puts up a 4.4 from a skill position or from, you know, an outside position, whatever the position may be, that is still fast. That guy should still be, you know, take another extra look at him if you have to, but you can't take away that guy is blazing.
Yeah, it's just we have so much in the bigger, faster, stronger category. I mean, we talk about this all the time, whether it's on air or even in commercial breaks, just from the time you got to, again, you're not an old guy. I mean, you're 33 years old, played in the NFL, drafted when you're 2010, and out, around 2014 or so. I mean, that is not a long time ago. And yet we have seen the game change. I feel like we've seen players change, and we've seen the metrics, quite frankly, change in the sport in just a handful of years. I mean, it is changing in front of our eyes, whether we want to admit it or not. And I think that's kind of the moral of this story. It's like, I'm not surprised to see Kyle Pitts run a 4.44. Like, I'm just not. I'm not surprised to see Jamar Chase in the 4.3s. Or, yeah, it's not like wow anymore to me. You know, nothing is that eye-popping. Now, you get the edge guy running a 4.36. That does kind of pop at you. That's still different because of the position. But even Fields yesterday, man, running a 4.44 at the quarterback position. I know it's like the fastest time since RG3 of a guy that could be picked in the first round, but it still doesn't wow me. Like, it just doesn't surprise me anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. When you hear 4.4 over and over and over again, like you get accustomed to that, right? Like when you hear some guy running a 4.2, like a 4.28 or 4.29, like that's like, wow. I mean, let's, you know, give that guy his own island. Like I think it was Adidas or Nike was trying to do if somebody broke the 40 time record a couple years ago back at the Combine. Like to me, like I understand what a 4.4 means, right? Because you know I playing in locker rooms with you know pretty fast guys, but any guy that runs the 4.4, like it comes with some prestige a little bit. Like you know, like there's murmuring of like that guy ran a 4.4, that guy ran a 4.4, and if you have a guy that runs a 4.3, well then forget about it. Like everyone's gonna be asking that guy to race after practice one day just because they want to see it in person. So I get what you're saying where 4.4 seems to be the benchmark now. It's the number that we always hear, and it's really the number, to me, that sets apart from a skill position whether you're fast or not. And that's not the way it should be, because once again, your game film is going to decide everything. But for whatever reason, we made that benchmark now of 4.4 saying, well, he ran a 4.5. That guy's slow at the skill position. That's just not accurate. It's not fair.
Yeah. How about Gators in terms of this draft? Well, you got Pitts, and everybody would be like, heck yeah, that'd be awesome. Unrealistic at this stage, okay? Barring anything crazy the Jags do. It's just unrealistic. Kadarius Toney is realistic. Marco Wilson, those guys back in the back end of the draft or the middle of the rounds of the draft. And we'll talk about Marco Wilson's story a little bit later on too. But would you be excited if Kadarius Toney, like at 25, I'm not saying you want it and that's where you're going to go. But do you think you'd be excited if the Jags landed Kadarius Toney at some time late in the first round?
Once again, it would all depend how the draft played out. There would be a part of me that would ask the question, well, how are you going to use this guy? Because you just took him in the first round. So when I hear of a first-round wide receiver, I think of guys like DK Metcalf, who's not even a first-round receiver in his own right, but I think of like game changers like that. I think of like an A.J. Brown. How are you going to use this guy? Well, I see a room right now that has Marvin Jones Jr. I see a room right now that has Laviska Shenault, and I see a room that has DJ Chark. So if you're going to bring in a guy in the later rounds who's not named Jamar Chase or who's not from Alabama per se, it begs the question, well, how would you use him? How many reps would he get? How many catches? How many targets would he get per game? If you can't answer me and tell me at least 6 or 7 targets a game, then is the juice really worth that squeeze when you have other issues to address, like the safety position? So once again, it all depends to me how the draft plays out. I think the big one is if Taylor Morrig's gone, then okay, fine. Take a look at maybe a wide receiver late on in the draft. That's fine in the first round. But I think you have to keep in mind you got other needs to fill first, unless you can bring in a guy that's going to be that dynamic playmaker that can get the ball in his hands, 6 to 8 times per game.
Well, I guess, and I like what you do. At least you give us a little bit of a metric there, right? Can he get the ball in his hands 6 times? Because right now it was hard to do that even with Laviska Shenault. But I think the difference between Toney that I would ask myself, and this is what I asked myself with Marvin Jones, who, by the way, I caught up with today. We'll share that interview next couple of days a bit or even into next week, and he's a fun guy. But I asked the same question when Marvin Jones was signed. How do you change the offense? Like, does Marvin Jones change their offense? Would Kadarius Toney change their offense? Laviska Shenault, I think, made their offense interesting. I don't know if he changed their offense, Austin. And I think the way you change an offense is that game-breaking ability. I think Brandon Ayuk had a little bit of that in him in San Francisco. So at times he was such a threat to make the big play that he helps change the offense. That's what I wonder. Can Toney do that? And so if you ask that question, I don't know if I even need to get wrapped up in the 6 or 8 reps or whatever it might be. But the 1 or 2 times, if it's only that in a game, is it meaningful? Is it super impactful? Or is it just another 6-yard gain? Because you can find a lot of guys to do that. So I kind of look at it that way, and I don't know if anybody you pick late in the first round or then even the second, third, or anybody else is really going to jump at you before the draft and say, yeah, that guy can do that. If you were to go get Pitts, you could certainly say that guy can do that. If you go get Jamar Chase, you're like, I can see that guy doing that. If you go get Devontae Smith or Waddle, that guy can do that. But that's why they're picked in the top 10, top 12, top 15. I think these guys that go a little bit later on, I don't know if there's an automatic for that. But I think that's what I would ask myself. Whoever the Jags end up with in pick number 25, 33, 45, somewhere in that category, I hope there's an offensive player in there. Can he help change their offense? That's the question I want answered. And I don't know if Toney does that. But if he does do that, then that will be a valid pick in my opinion, whether he touches it 6 times or 3.
Yeah, see, I disagree with you because to me that's a luxury pick. To me, it would be like back in 2019, I think it was, when the Chiefs selected Mecole Hardman. Now, the Chiefs, they already had a good roster put together. They add Mecole Hardman, obviously top-end speed, kind of a gadget guy. You can do a lot of things with him. Well, if we followed Mecole Hardman's career so far, maybe he touches the ball maybe 2 or 3, maybe 4 times a game, and sometimes he's impactful. He was in the playoffs a little bit, but was it worth the 56th overall pick of that draft? I don't know. Just like would Kadarius Toney be worth the 25th pick overall of the draft if you still have guys like Laviska Shenault wanting the reps? If you still have guys like, and let's not forget either, Colin Johnson, who we're not sure how they're going to use him quite yet. I think that if you use a guy 3 or 4 times a game, and maybe that's it, I don't think from the first couple years that's worth the 25th pick. I think that you have bigger needs right now on this team, and you're coming off of a 1-15 season. You obviously have to address other things. Now, they've done that some in free agency, but there's a lot more addressing to be done.
Well, there's something else about these Gators, okay, and that is a little bit of Gator fatigue by some. The Jaguars have had success in the past with Gators. Fred Taylor, Reggie Nelson come to mind. They have had recent not-so-great success with Gators, from Dante Fowler Jr. to Taven Bryan to now we're still a little bit in a bit of a holding pattern with Juwan Taylor, although I really thought that was going to be a good one, and I still hope that it could be. And there are others. So there's a bit of fatigue around the Florida Gators being drafted. And ironically, man, Chris Rodriguez jumps in, and when I asked about the fatigue, he said SEC fatigue, actually. I wrote back to him, I said, we once picked a guy from Colorado School of the Mines and Murray State and Ashland University. I can't imagine our franchise here in Jacksonville has SEC fatigue.
No.
But the Gator fatigue, while I don't know how overwhelmingly real it is something, right? It's like a narrative, and it's almost like, I don't know, guys. I don't know if I want to go there. I think Kyle Pitts is a bit of an exception, but again, it's an unrealistic exception. How much do you think that really exists? Is it a vocal minority? Is it the Twitter, Jags Twitter? Are we really tired? I mean, are we really labeling, oh, no, that guy came from Florida if he got picked?
I think you have to, because you go off the sample size and you go off history. And if you go off, Florida Gators that have played in Jacksonville, like you have a guy like Reggie Nelson, who he had a great career, but maybe underachieved a little bit in Jacksonville. You have a guy like, they sacrificed so much to get with Derek Harvey, who really underachieved as well. And the juice wasn't worth the squeeze of the amount of draft picks that were given up to get Derek Harvey. You have a guy like Dante Fowler, who once again had some trials and tribulations here in Jacksonville, goes on to different places and does all right, but didn't do that well in Jacksonville. And then you have a guy like Taven Bryan, just to name a few. Now, Juwan Taylor, once again, we're still on the fence right now. Hopefully he makes progress next year. But when I can name 4 or 5 guys that essentially underachieved from the same university, how could you not question that university of those players coming to your team? I mean, that's human nature. So am I ready to say I'm not going to pick Kadarius Toney or Kyle Pitts because they're Florida Gators? Absolutely not. But I completely understand where Jaguars fans are coming from and saying, going to be a little leery about these because the track record has shown we haven't had the most success with Florida Gators.
Well, here's what I would say to that, Austin, and whether that's understandable or not, I would probably throw and I don't know the full results of all these guys, but I feel like the New England Patriots went on a run of Florida Gators for a while, too. There was a bit of a pipeline, whether it was the urban relationship with Belichick, but it felt like that for a bit. And I know we're going to throw like the Aaron Hernandez in there, but Brandon Spikes was another guy. And there were many in New England, and they had a bunch of success in terms of the team. The players, maybe not so much, and maybe not drafted at such a high level as where the Jaguars picked their Gators, if you will. But I guess my news flash for everybody is it's not going to change. And the reason I say that is Florida still puts out very good athletes and probably going to put out better athletes than they even have in the last 5, 6, 7 years because they've been a little bit void in some spots. I would also say they play in the SEC, and that's where a lot of the draft picks are coming from. And then you go to the connections. Yes, you will see Ohio State players. You will see Florida players. He, meaning Urban Meyer, has strong ties to those universities. That means he knows the people. He trusts people in there. And so if you're going to pick from San Diego State or one of those places where you trust somebody, I think you're going to lean on the trusting of somebody to give you a positive and complete report. So I guess my caution is if you feel strongly against picking Gators, buckle up because I think it's going to continue to happen. I'm not saying it's happening this time right around like this year, but it's going to happen in the Urban Meyer regime, and it might happen plentiful.
No, and I get that. I mean, that's fair. I'm just saying I see where fans are coming from, though, where they're definitely skeptical, as they should be. I mean, think about it. If you date 4 girls from Jacksonville Beach who grew up in Jacksonville Beach and they're all psychos and like they ended early, you're probably going to be a little leery then of dating any more girls from Jacksonville Beach. Simple as that. Not to say girls from Jacksonville Beach are psychos. I'm sure they're fantastic and great. I'm just using them as an example. So same thing with NFL fandom, where if you keep on drafting players from the same university and they keep on, turning out to be duds or underachieving, you're going to be skeptical. That's just the way it works. Now, all it takes is one guy to come in here and blow the complete doors off it and say, all right, see, this university can give us players as well. And maybe Kyle Pitts, maybe Kadarius Toney could be those 2 guys.
Yeah, and that's fair. That is fair. Bottom line is, doesn't matter where they come from, they got to pick good players, and that's a big part of the fix in Jacksonville that we identified months ago. Is that you got to hit. You got to hit on these guys, and sometimes you got to hit big if you want to win big. Like this 25th pick. Let's just hope, right? Trevor Lawrence is the guy, and he's as good as everybody says. But the 25th pick is how you turn the organization around. It's those kind of picks. And, yeah, maybe you get one in the 3rd round, like a Yannick Ngakoue kind of production. But that second first-rounder, the Caleb Chase on last year, if he does turn into something, to me, that's how you really turn it around at a faster rate in Jacksonville, because you're hitting on your first-round guys, and maybe you're hitting big on some of those late-round guys, which is value. If I look at organizations, I think of like the Ravens. They've picked in the back end of the draft often, probably picks through, say, 24 to 32, and I feel like they've done good work there. And I'm not going to sit there and list a bunch of examples, but I don't know if it feels that way to you, Austin. I feel like they've done a lot of good work there. And Seattle, I think, has done a little bit of that over the years, too. When you're used to picking in that back end, you're not going to hit everybody, and they're not going to be perennial Pro Bowlers. There's a big difference between the top 12, top 15, and I think even the rest of that first round. But you do have to find a couple of players, and I think that's where the Jaguars have to be successful. You got to keep your fingers crossed that Chason is something more than he was last year, and I think you got to keep your fingers crossed that number 25, that pick comes in, they send that card in, whoever they pick is a stud player for the Jags, because that's how you turn it around quicker.
No, absolutely. That's where the draft starts. We know what we're getting with Trevor Lawrence, hopefully, obviously, but it's the easiest pick maybe in draft history. Okay, you're getting Trevor Lawrence. That 25 pick, though, because there's just so many directions that you can go, and there's so many narratives and storylines that you can follow. In my opinion, and I don't usually say this a lot, but to me, you pick I don't want to say the best player available, but the best player that's going to fit your need. I get it. If there's a wide receiver there that's dynamic and fast, you don't need him, but you kind of do need him because you want to give Trevor Lawrence another weapon, because you want to make Urban Meyer's offense run, right? I get that. But at the same time, I'm taking a long, hard look at the safety spot, maybe the interior defensive line as well. They aren't the sexiest picks, and maybe fans don't get the most excited over those picks. But when we talk about later on in the draft in the first round, the picks that make a difference, sometimes it's the least sexiest picks that make the difference.
No doubt about it. I agree with you. And they're the safer picks and sometimes just the better picks. I agree with that totally. We'll talk more about the Gators Pro Day and what's going to happen with some of those guys. I do want to talk a little bit Marco Wilson, that story. It's a really good article written today, and 2 guys in the draft that have had incidents that now may play significant roles on NFL teams. That is coming up. There's some news out of the international series. My buddy Richard Graves tweeting about London, the Jacksonville Jaguars, games over there. We'll give you the latest update on that coming up right after this. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. We are live on the road. Come down to Durban, say hello. Free samples from Smoothie King. We're just outside the Smoothie King location in Durban here in St. Johns County on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert Forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly cloudy, very warm and breezy today. Highs in the mid to upper 80s with a widely scattered afternoon shower or thunderstorm. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 and Fox 30. Action News Jax from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, where right now you can get 5 years, 0-interest financing with nothing down. Welcome to Moe's, and good morning at Moe's. In St. Augustine only at 312 and US 1, it's the only Moe's in the country serving breakfast burritos. Try it. You'll love it. Full breakfast menu only at the St. Augustine location. They put the fast in breakfast. Made to order in the drive-thru. Try the Home Wrecker breakfast burrito. Your choice of bacon, chicken, or steak with scrambled eggs, shredded cheese, and seasoned potatoes. Served daily at 6 a.m. St. Augustine location only. Make it a better morning with Moe's.
Life is complicated. We all know it, and all can use the proper support system. You know what else can be complicated? Owning a home. And that's why Rex was built to go beyond the simple real estate transaction. Full-service agents for buying and selling, mortgage services, insurance quotes, escrow and title, even home repair. All one call away. I guess you could call Rex your home support system and not a typical brokerage. Call 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-739-4663. Want more? Of course you do. With all that convenience comes reduced fees, too. In fact, the average Rex homeowner saves over $10,000 when buying and selling a home. Want to get started? It's never too soon. Call 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-739-4663. 833-739-4663. Florida license number CQ1057788. For further licensing disclosures, please visit rexhomes.com.
It's been 6 months since my wife leased her new Cadillac from Fields Auto Group, and she absolutely loves it. It's our first experience with Fields, and it's been terrific. They say you can step up to luxury for less, and we did. Not just a luxury Cadillac XT6. The car is beautiful, but the customer service is extra special too. It was like that at Fields Cadillac Jacksonville, and it will be like that at any of the Fields locations in Jacksonville. Cadillac, of course, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche as well. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. We are now part of that Fields Amenities program, and my wife tried the loaner program. It was easy and a nice added benefit. So whatever you're driving, see Fields and step up to luxury for less. Check out their locations all around Jacksonville, just like we did. You can go visit fieldsauto.com. There is a taste of the islands in every drop of Vida de Luis tequila, imported directly from Tequila, Mexico to Jacksonville Beach. Vida de Luis is the only locally owned tequila in Jax Beach. Support local and try Vida de Luis. Award-winning, smooth, all natural, no aldehydes or additives, which means wake up feeling good the next morning. Find out where you can pick up a bottle of Vida de Luis, Blanco, Reposado, or Añejo. Just visit VitaDeLuis.com. Support local and taste the islands in every drop.
Ever wonder why so many people are opening banking accounts at Community First?
Because it's a smart way to move your money around.
Or do anything else you want with it.
And at Community First, you don't have to pretend to be anybody special.
Just be yourself.
You can add a Community First banking account at any branch or on your phone, tablet, or desktop at justbeyourself.com. Community First. Just be yourself.
Federally insured by NCAA.
It is the home of the Action Sports Jax Dream 18, and make it your home course as well. The golf club at Southampton in North St. Johns County, located off County Road 210. It's family-owned and operated. Southampton is a fun course to play, and the golf club at Southampton offers club membership programs starting at just $79. With its elite practice facilities and player-friendly golf course design, it'll be your gateway to a great time with the family or with your buddies. For information on the membership programs, call the golf club at Southampton, 904-287-PLAY. Again, it's 904-287-PLAY. Where else can you get luncheon, brunchin', boozin' specials? Only one place, at Cohen's Irish Pub at Atlantic Beach and on the south side. It's as Irish as you can get, owned by 4 Irish sisters. And they've got fish and chips, of course, shepherd's pie. Go today for lunch or dinner. Eat in, order out. CohensIrishPub.com for the full menu. And try the new 5 Sisters vodka at happy hour. Luncheon, brunchin', boozin' specials, and so much more. 2 locations, Atlantic Beach and the south side. Cohen's Irish Pub, Irish sass with 5-star class. Hey everybody, it's Brett Martineau from Action Sports Jax. There's a good chance you have a smart speaker, so use it with ESPN 690. Stay up to date on the Jags and all things sports by telling Alexa or Google to play ESPN 690. It's as easy as that. Make sure you listen weekdays 3 until 6 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Brett Martineau.
They probably already have one. Cornholing.
Austin Lane.
You're going to have a call from PR in a little bit here.
Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
he is just a phenomenal athlete, you know, and he's a guy that plays tight end, and he's at a solid tight end, you know. I mean, he's going to put his face in there, he's going to block, he's going to cover people up. He's not going to be an extra offensive lineman. Don't mistake him for that. But you can move him around, and he might be the best X receiver I've ever coached. But he's the best tight end I've ever coached.
I'll give you one crack, Austin, because I know it.
Sorry, I wasn't listening. I was talking to Coos. Big stuff popping off here in the studio.
Show?
No, he's still here.
Oh.
He's trying to help me out with some stuff.
Oh. Well, I was asking you. I gave you one crack at the soundbite. Were you not listening?
I just said I wasn't listening. I was talking to Coos.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's not exactly what I heard. But anyway, that was Dan Mullen.
There's confusion because we're recording your stuff on the side. I had your mic muted to him, so he didn't hear you respond. So that's why you're not.
I got you.
What we have here is a failure to communicate.
Better believe it, man.
That was interesting, though. Dan Mullen saying, best X-receiver he's coached, best tight end he's coached. And that's really the book on Pitts. Pitts is, again, I just look at Pitts as a receiver. and in this day and age, I mean, I look at Travis Kelce as a receiver. I look at Greg Kittle as a receiver. And I know they do more. But maybe it's fantasy football. Maybe it's the way they're most dangerous, the way you can create mismatches and all of that stuff. I just look at him as a receiver. I mean, that's what he is. Add to the package. I am not picking Kyle Pitts 6th overall or trading up to get him if he dropped to number 10 because he can block a little bit and he has tight end labeled next to him. I'm taking him because the guy can catch in mismatches all over the place, and he runs 4.4. So I think that's the story on Kyle Pitts, and everybody knows it. What do you think it's more Waller? Is that who he is? I mean, is that the best comparison, or will he even be a different type of guy than that?
Ooh, that's a good question. I mean, to me, it reminds me a lot of Vernon Davis when he came out, because like Vernon Davis was considered this freak athlete. I believe he was out of Maryland, if my memory serves me right. And Vernon Davis had a stellar career. Now, was Vernon Davis Travis Kelce, Rob Gronkowski? No, he was not. I don't think Vernon Davis is really even be a Hall of Famer. Now, maybe I'm completely off, but I feel like the numbers wouldn't put him in the Hall of Fame. That's what I get from like the freakish standpoint. Now, that was however long ago that was. In the modern NFL now, like, teams know how to use the tight end and get the tight end open and make sure that he gets his targets. So I guess how I see Pitts playing out, especially his first couple years, I can see him being like, I get Darren Waller as a great comparison. I would almost say him or even possibly George Kittle from the standpoint of they go above and beyond to get George Kittle the ball. Whether it's like a tight end sweep, a screen, lining him up on the outside. Like, to me, what makes George Kittle so great is his versatility. And it obviously is Shanahan's ability to give him the ball. I feel like they're probably going to do the exact same thing to Kyle Pitts as well. I guess Travis Kelce would be another great comparison because Andy Reid has some of these, these gadget plays set up for Travis Kelce specifically. So any one of those guys where it's tailor-made, the offense runs through them, I think he's going to succeed in.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's, this is going to be on an offensive staff to make the most out of Kyle Pitts. And if you do pick him top 10, which it certainly appears now he's going to go in the top 10, I almost think to the point where somebody's afraid to pass on him. Does he let me finish my thought. I just think it's up to the offensive coach to utilize him how best. Forget about the comparisons. Just take his skill set, how he fits in your offense, but make him dynamic, man. And that's on you if you can't do that. I mean, then you're not worth your salt, most likely, if you can't do that with the skill set Kyle Pitts has. Is Kyle Pitts the guy that you're hating to pass on in the first top 10 picks of the draft? And I'll take the quarterback guys out of here, but like Cincinnati, do they hate the idea of passing on Pitts even though they think they have to get Sewell, like they're compelled to get Sewell to protect Joe Burrow, but they really would rather have Pitts? They think he's the better overall player, like a Hall of Fame player someday. Is Pitts that guy? Is it Jamar Chase? Is it Devontae Smith, the Heisman Trophy winner? Is it Pitts?
You're asking me, is Pitts the guy that they're afraid to pass up on?
Yeah, anybody, like Cincy, Miami, yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt, like hands down, Kyle Pitts is the guy, no questions asked. Because after Kyle Pitts, well, then what is there? Okay, there's Pat Freiermuth, there's Brevin Jordan. But I think we can sit here today, 3/31 of 2021, and say Kyle Pitts is going to be the best tight end out of this class. If I was going to put a mortgage payment on that, I probably would. Right? When we talk about the wide receiver class, well, yeah, Jamar Chase just ran a 4.3, looks to be the real deal. But who's to say maybe Devontae Smith, maybe Jalen Waddle, maybe even Kadarius Toney, maybe Terrence Marshall Jr., maybe the dude out of Purdue, Rondell Moore, maybe Rashad Bateman is going to be the best wide receiver out of this class. Like, we have an idea, but we don't know. If we know one thing, it's that Kyle Pitts will be the best pass catcher from the tight end position out of this draft class.
But in that same context, Austin, don't we know Penei Sewell is by far the best left tackle in this draft?
I mean, I think you can make an argument from the guy from Northwestern as well.
Okay.
I mean, listen, everyone's talking about Penei Sewell, and I believe it. I believe the hype. But I'm just saying no one's even come close to the comparisons or, like, where they fall more than Kyle Pitts. Like, is there any other tight end going in the first round?
No, listen, I'm not telling you you're wrong. I'm just for debate. I would probably lean with you on this, and I don't know. I guess you could make the case. Which one's more unique? Penei Sewell, who might be this generational left tackle, or Kyle Pitts, who I'm not sure we can even find the right comparison to the guy.
Yeah. Well, don't get me wrong. Here I am hyping up Kyle Pitts like I always do, but at the same time, if I'm the Bengals, I'm showing my offensive line. I'm taking care of my future in Joe Burrow. I understand what I just said about Kyle Pitts, but I need Joe Burrow to play 16 games a season, or 17 games now. I can't have him, suffering, catastrophe knee injuries. I can't have that stuff. So that's why I addressed offensive tackle spot, even though maybe to some fan bases they're going to golf at me and say, well, what are you doing? Pass up Kyle Pitts. I'm helping out Joe Burrow, because at the end of the day, regardless of how important Kyle Pitts is, no one's more important to that team than Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I think I do think Cincinnati, like if we're doing sports radio in Cincinnati, it's got to be pretty wild, because I do think now, I wonder if they feel the Kyle Pitts stuff as much as we do here because we're so close to Gainesville. We watched him play for the last couple of years. I would assume they do. But the Kyle Pitts draft pick, if you're a Bengals fan, is way sexier than Penei Sewell.
Of course.
And it's just, but I think what you just said, there's so much common sense in the Sewell pick. It would be great for Cincinnati radio. And I guess that's my question. It's like, okay, which one are you going to regret passing on? And maybe they're both such home runs that you couldn't miss. And maybe that's the case. Like, maybe this is, go back to the 2016 draft, and it's like Joey Bosa and Jalen Ramsey, right? You take either one, and you're probably going to win. That could be that. But if you miss, oh, boy, Cincinnati, I think there's a lot of pressure on them to pick the right guy, because then I think it's, like, easy for Miami. I think Miami will go with Pitts at number 6 and not even wrestle with the receivers there to change them. So I think it's a fascinating part of the draft, and it almost feels in that context the draft starts at number 5. But that's not to say Atlanta doesn't run up there and take Kyle Pitts. I mean, he could go at number 4. I think everybody's talking quarterback to Atlanta, but Kyle Pitts could end up number 4. It's really going to be a fascinating watch when it comes to the tight end receiver from the Florida Gators. Hey, have you seen this? Richard Gray is my buddy from over there across the pond, the Sky Sports. Just tweeted this over the last couple of hours, and let me find it. The Football Association, the FA over there, has confirmed it is in talks with the Jacksonville Jaguars over staging more NFL games at Wembley Stadium. Part of the quote is, latest on the Jaguars following this week's NFL owners' meetings, the FA tells Sky Sports News, we remain in ongoing positive discussions with the Jaguars about hosting future games at Wembley, so we are not in a position to comment further. The FA maintains good relationships with the NFL, and the Jacksonville Jaguars have enjoyed over a decade of hosting games at Wembley Stadium. Has it been a decade? I don't think it's quite been a decade, but close enough. Then the Jacksonville Jaguars issued a statement on the Wembley negotiations, this in the last half hour, and Richard is tweeting this from Sky Sports. The Jaguars currently do not have agreements with the NFL or Wembley Stadium to play a home game per season in London. We know that. Our annual home games in London have strengthened our franchise. helped to forge relationships between Jacksonville and UK businesses and establish the Jaguars as the team to follow and support in London, the UK, and throughout Europe. For those reasons and many more, we're hopeful that the Jaguars' tradition of playing one home game each season in London can continue well into the future. We continue to have discussions with the FA and staff at Wembley Stadium, where our experiences have always been excellent. So that's the latest over there. I don't think, Austin, and again, I kind of just read all that in a hurry, so sorry if you're listening, but you can find those tweets. Richard Graves is the one that's tweeting those quotes in the statement from the Jags. I think two things of note really interesting, and one is not a surprise at all. We said this yesterday. We had the conversation. I believe they're going to London once a year. I really do. I think that relationship's going to continue. They put too much groundwork. They have too much of a footprint to take it away from there. And by the way, they have more competition than ever because every owner wants a piece of it. They see the dollars. Doesn't matter if you're struggling. Doesn't matter how big your fan base is. Doesn't matter how big your city, your market is. People want to go and explore and expand and create more revenue. And that's what London does. I think the very interesting part of this is right here. For those reasons and many more, we're hopeful that the Jaguars' tradition of playing one home game each season in London can continue well into the future. Well, there it is, right? They don't have much of a desire at this time, just a little bit more than a year after saying we're going to play 2 home games. The Jaguars don't look like they have much of a desire to play more than 1 home game over there in London. I think that's big news. I think that's big for Jags fans. I think Jags fans know, whether they want to admit it or put their arms around it or not, that the one game in London is going to exist, but they sure as hell don't want 2. And I think that right there, that statement says, hey, we're going to probably work on the one game going forward, probably for the next decade, but we're not going with 2.
Yeah, obviously it's smart from their part. I think it's smart because then you get the fan base behind you. I think it's smart because I think 2 home games in London gives you a competitive disadvantage. So I think it's smart from all around. And to me, it's great news. You know, I'm sorry that there's going to be 1 game over there in London because, you know, whether you want to make a couple extra bucks here or there, I get it. And if the game is shifting towards more of a global audience, you still want the Jaguars as much as possible to be at the forefront of that because they were kind of the pioneers, let's just say, of playing overseas. So, yeah, I think it's great news all around.
Yeah. How do you think the fans feel about the 1? Are we so accustomed to it now that it has happened for almost a decade? I don't think it's been more than a decade. But that it's like, okay, I get it. You show us the chart. It's 15% revenue. There are some people that they'll say, really, is there really a lot of business interaction going on as much as everybody had hoped? I would say I think there is business interaction going on. I think it's been more subtle than people had hoped and maybe even officials had hoped. But I do think there's a certain relationship over there. I've been there just about every year. And I mean, the Jags fan base has grown over there. The dollars are just oozing off buildings in London. There's some sense to it. How do you think the Jags fans feel now about the 1 game? Are we to the point where, like, okay, I get it?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't think that the Jaguars fans really care what the bottom dollar looks like from the team. You know, I mean, yeah, sure, at the end of the year you can go on Forbes and see, like, where the Jaguars rank, and, you know, that's a fun competition to go back and forth with other franchises. But, like, Jaguars fans don't care about the bottom dollar. And I think in the beginning, a lot of fans were hesitant to come on board with the whole London thing just because, you know, you're taking away a home game, you're taking away a chance to see the team. But now where they sit, obviously, it's like, well, every team seems to be doing this now. It's like the big thing. So from that perspective, I think, you know, a majority of the fan base has come around to it and is cool with it.
Yeah, and I guess it's not a good one worth arguing because you kind of know it's reality, you know? And now with the 17 games, I mean, I think there's room for it. And by the way, we're not going to be alone in Jacksonville. I think that's the moral of this story the last couple of days. Everybody wants a piece of the pie, folks, whether you like it or not. Everybody wants a piece of that pie going global. They want to expand. They want to get more money. This saturated United States market when it comes to the NFL. It's happening. But I think that's big news that basically that statement said 1 game, not 2 games. And that was pretty interesting to me. We're live at Smoothie King down in Durban. Stop on by, get some free samples, say hello. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. The Final Four is all set. Do you like it? Or is this a foregone conclusion at what happens? It's on the way on ESPN 690.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
Happy Hump Day. I'm Jake Mitchell. The NFL and the owners have added a 17th game to the NFL season. That means the Jags will have a 17th game this year. It will be a home clash against the Atlanta Falcons. And in NCAA news, the Final Four has all of its teams as UCLA upset the number 1 Michigan Wolverines to take a spot, and then Gonzaga stays perfect as they become the only top seed to make the finals. Here's Freddie Coleman, ESPN radio host, talking about Mick Cronin, UCLA's head coach.
So many people completely crushed this hire by UCLA. Mick Cronin said, here's the deal. We're going to build a program, and I'm going to build it my way. I know how to find players. I know how to get players. And everybody said, oh, man, this is going to be a terrible hire 2 or 3 years from now. You guys are going to regret it. Here we are 2 and 3 years from now, and Mick Cronin doing it his way, and he's in the Final Four.
The Sports Center Update is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Zubin Mahente.
How many teams really need to change the starting quarterback position? That list is probably 4 or 5 teams.
They are.
Washington, Chicago. Let's throw Carolina in there, even though they have a starter. Patriots is 4. Who else?
Keyshawn, Jay, Will, and Zubin. Weekday mornings at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Or streaming live on the ESPN app.
Smoked for hours, served in minutes. Now that sounds like good barbecue, and it is at Willie Jewell's in St. Augustine at Mirabella Crossing. Open 7 days a week. It's old school barbecue. Trivia night on Monday. Kids eat free on Wednesdays. Check out the Willie Jewell's app and catering for all events. Voted best wings in St. Augustine as well. Visit williejewels.com and visit Willie Jewell's at Mirabella Crossing in St. Augustine. Old school barbecue, smoked for hours, served in minutes at Willie Jewell's.
They just don't make them like they used to. People say that a lot, and sometimes it's true, but not for air conditioners. Manufacturers actually make them better than they used to. It's just that local AC companies don't install them like they ought to. Old school rules of thumb and yesterday's shortcuts simply sabotage new school systems. Can new technology give you more comfort with longer service life? Only if the AC tech knows how to properly engineer it for your home and how to install it right. So techs that don't understand inverters, low voltage controls, and how to configure the software, dip switches, and refrigerant charge for Florida humidity, they'll totally turn it into turd buckets, especially if they just do a swap the box install without fixing your ductwork and airflow. My point, the better the technology, the more important the install. At Griffith Service, we fix what others can't, but it's best to have us install it right from the beginning. So if your new system ain't working right or your old one needs replacing, call
GriffinService.com.
1250-697.
Hey, boss, how's it going?
How's it going? Oh, let me tell you how it's going. So far this year, I've broken my pinky toe, had a flat tire, and currently I'm trying to pass a kidney stone the size of Rhode Island.
Well, karma strikes again.
What?
Nothing. Oh, look, it's the first Crooks R Us survey of 2021. They're asking crooks like us to list the top reasons we avoid safe touch houses.
Well, there's the crash and smash technology, the video monitoring.
Yeah, but what's number 1?
Gotta be the two-way communicator.
That's what I said.
Oh, yeah. The two-way communicator leads to verified alarms, which lead to faster response times, which are all very bad for us crooks.
Which all just circles back to the Crooks R Us golden rule. Stay away from safe touch houses.
Yeah, thanks, Captain Obvious.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
What defines a hero? Dedication, loyalty, courage. Every day at AMCO, we serve heroes. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. From complex transmissions to simple brake jobs with flexible financing and the extra safety precautions we need. The heroes we serve don't all wear uniforms. They're people like you. At AMCO, we're proud to serve all of you. AA MCO.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at AMCOJacksonville.com.
Watch Tanika Hughes and John Bachman on Action News Jacks at 5, 6, and 11.
We make it a point to cover important local news you need to know about.
Perspective is important. It's not just what happened, it's the reason why it happened and how that impacts you.
Plus, it's where you'll find the Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The weather is always changing, and my forecast will help you plan your day and week ahead.
Watch, and you'll see why CBS 47 and Fox 30 is local coverage you can count on.
I should have my kid tell you about Jumpin' Jack's House of Food. It's Ty's favorite burger in town. Make it one of your favorites as well. Jumpin' Jack's House of Food has 3 locations now, Atlantic Beach, Mandarin, and downtown Jacksonville. Change your life burgers. But they have salads, pizza, and much more on the menu, too. Let Jumpin' Jack's House of Food be your great neighbor. Lunch or dinner with the family, or they will cater parties from 2 to 500 people. Jumpin' Jack's, HOF.com for online ordering. Jumpin' Jack's House of Food, open 7 days a week.
I want a fling, spice things up.
Whoa, hold on. Marriage takes work.
No, I mean a spicy Bloody Mary mix for the brunch I'm planning. I want to fling into spring at Total Wine with thousands of wine, spirits, and beers to explore. I want a mix of cocktails with tequilas and fruit-flavored vodkas. I want choices. Chardonnays, rosés, Pinots, Proseccos. I want more.
All right, let's go to Total Wine and More.
Wondrous selection, helpful guides, always low prices. Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly, B21.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Austin Lane from Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Smart speakers are becoming part of everyday life, so why not use it to listen to the radio? Tell Alexa, Google Home, or any other speaker to play ESPN 690. Give it a shot weekday afternoons from 3 to 6.
The better example is the UNLV team we just talked about. All right, Tark's team looked like they were blowing teams out. They were averaging 97 points a game, Jay. 97 points a game in college basketball when they were making about 1 or 2 threes a game. Like, it wasn't like the three-point shot was a big part of it back in the early 90s, and yet they were doing that. They were putting it on teams, and they found a way to lose.
I don't know who that was. Is that somebody filling in for Keyshawn and Jay? Or is that wasn't Jay Williams?
Is that Golick Jr.?
No, that was Alan Hahn.
Oh, yeah, Alan Hahn.
Hey, look at the video feed right now. All right? It's going to take a few minutes, okay? So,
all right,
I know.
Let me get on that YouTube real quick.
Get on that YouTube. And we're here at Smoothie King. Lean One Vanilla with coffee is my go-to, by the way. Going to have that in just a few minutes. But we're down here at Durbin's. Come say hello. And also, you can get a free smoothie with our Dream 18 card. Go to ESPN690.com. Check that out. Also part of our restaurant revival tour right here at Smoothie King. So good to have Smoothie King on board. But are you seeing the video feed now?
Yeah, you're holding something.
Yeah, so this is like Gladiator, right? Complete protein, whey protein, 45 grams of protein. What I'm wondering is, like, if I just, like, in the next 2 days ate this, like, whole thing.
Sure.
Could I then beat you in the cage?
No, that's not how it works. Needless to say, I mean, I'd love to see you eat the whole thing. That'd be a great endorsement. Just, hey, I'm Brett Martineau, and I'm going to do something crazy and eat this whole thing. The thing with protein, though, when you consume it, like, per, like, your meal or per, like, couple hour blocks, your body can only ingest around 50 grams, if I'm not mistaken. So if you drink, like, a 100-gram protein shake, well, you're only going to use 50 grams of those proteins in your body.
So you're wasting some of that.
You're wasting some of it. Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, here's the deal. Is this fact or fiction? Because you know this stuff way better than me.
Yep.
I weigh 200 and, like, man, I do weigh like 205 pounds. Like,
flex.
I feel I should be less. Like, I want to be in the 190s. But I've been doing a lot of push-ups, so maybe it's all muscle.
Flex.
Not if you look at my belly.
Yeah,
but
still
anyway.
flex. Yep.
So that is fact that I weigh like 205 pounds. But people will tell you that you should eat in a day half your body weight in protein. So should I be having 102 grams of protein a day?
Ooh. 102 grams of protein per day.
50%, just a ratio.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Ratio.
Yeah, I'm just trying to put it all together, like if that's realistic or not. I mean, I'm not sure if you should. I haven't really heard that you should eat half your body weight in protein. I'm sure that's probably true. I try to get as much protein in per meal that's feasible as possible. But I would say that's a pretty good baseline. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. All right. Just checking.
Yep.
I want to see. Asking for a friend.
Yeah.
His name is Ty.
Oh no, for sure. I remember when I was in high school, I used to do like those weight gainers from GNC. Yeah, wasn't working.
I've never done like
they're like 2,000 calories a pop too.
Yeah, I never did any of that stuff. But I have like I'll eat the Smoothie King like for a meal replacement on lunch. and get that protein, I mean, the protein, I'll really work on protein and vegetables if I want to really hit the diet hard.
There we go.
No sugar.
Well, see, and since you had me bring the video up, I'm looking at the comments here, and Big Diesel's helping you out right now. He says it depends on your fitness goals and your training styles. I mean, don't ask me. Ask a guy with the handle Big Diesel, because he knows what he's talking about.
I thought he called me Diesel.
No,
My bad.
no, come on now. Come on now. Let's keep it in perspective.
Hey, Gonzaga, Baylor, UCLA, and Houston.
Wow.
You like the Final Four?
Yeah, why not? UCLA is definitely the wild card in that bunch. But, yeah, I don't mind it. I think we got to give a little more respect to, I guess, the Pac-12 now. I mean, I think we had to the entire tournament. I don't mind the Final Four because I think you got two favorites and then you got two underdogs in each game. So I'm all for that.
Yeah, listen, I think we're on a collision course for Baylor and Gonzaga. We talked about this yesterday, so I don't need to belabor it, but I just think there's separation here. And I really believe there's separation between Gonzaga and Baylor. But it's sports. I mean, anything can happen. Gonzaga's been really good before, and they've, I don't know about blown it, but they just haven't been able to get to the promised land. I have a hard time thinking that UCLA is a Cinderella the way they're playing. Like, I've watched a lot of the UCLA games. Of all the games, I've really watched most of the UCLA games for some reason, the timing of it. And I think they've played excellent basketball most of the way, defensively especially. They were a little off offensively yesterday. But I still don't think they can beat Gonzaga. And they're not also a true Cinderella to me. It just doesn't feel like it as an 11 seed. It should. But they're UCLA.
Yeah.
one of the winningest decades, like, in the history of sports. Probably the winningest decade. So I just don't see it that way, although I really do like it. I love the fact Baylor, hasn't been there since 1950. Houston, Phi Slamma Jamma, 1984. UCLA, I mean, it's good to have UCLA. Pretty good, but even as an 11 seed, they are somewhat of a Cinderella. And then Gonzaga's the ultimate 20-year Cinderella story, what makes March Madness, and they have a chance to go from Cinderella to, King of the Jungle, really. I mean, they really have totally a chance to change the entire look and narrative, even though they kind of feel like they already have in college basketball. I really like the Final Four. I just think we're headed toward Gonzaga-Baylor and Gonzaga winning it all.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely the obvious approach. Even though Houston was a 2 seed, I feel like they don't really get their just due. But it's interesting because this is the NCAA tournament and crazier things have happened. So I like the fact that we're probably going to have two bona fide favorites. Like, I haven't seen the Vegas odds yet. Gonzaga's got to be a huge favorite, and I assume Baylor's going to be a huge favorite as well. I wonder in one of those games, probably if you're going to pick one, more likely the Baylor-Houston game, where the underdog can make a surprise. Because to me, obviously, if UCLA makes the finals, well, that's a shocker. And to me also, if Houston makes the finals, even though they're the 2 seed, it's still Houston. That would be a shocker to me as well. So you have two games with two possibilities where that could happen. That's why I like this Final Four kind of stacking up like it does. I think if it was going to be like Gonzaga versus Baylor, in the Final Four to go to the championship game, and then you have UCLA-Houston, that loses some of its luster a little bit. But the fact that you have an underdog and a favorite in both games, I love it.
Yeah, that's a great call. That's a really good call. Hey, here's the other thing, and hopefully we'll get Matthew Driscoll maybe on later in the week. He's been joining us each week to break down the bracket. And Houston's interesting because not too many teams are built on offensive rebounds. Got to be one of the few teams in the history of the game. That's their MO, their identity is offensive rebounds.
Yeah.
And, people know it and can't stop it. That's wacky to me.
That's what we call aggressiveness.
Yeah.
Get those guys on the football field.
Want to. All right, we'll be back. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Going to check in from Gainesville on the Gators Pro Day. A little bit of Jags talk as well as the draft ticks down. We get to April tomorrow, and then the countdown is really on. We're live at Smoothie King down at Durban. Come on out, say hello. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Of course, we have everything you need to take on that oil change. It's easier than you think. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Mobil 1 synthetic high-mileage motor oil, an STP air filter, and an STP extended life oil filter for just $36.99. And you can get it all fast, your way. Just order online with our free same-day store pickup or next-day delivery. Getting your job done just got easier. Restrictions apply. Get in the zone, AutoZone.
It's time for some straight talk. Your tax return could look different this year, but you're still going to hear a lot of noise about how to spend it. So when the big carriers tell you to splurge on the latest nonsense, just tune it out. With Straight Talk, you can get a Samsung Galaxy A51 for just $199. Plus, get the $45 unlimited talk, text, and data plan with no contract on America's best networks for up to 50% less. Tune out the nonsense and tune in to Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
CGC Water has been telling you if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Still not a believer? Well, you can believe me. My family has been a happy CGC Water customer for 4 years now. Customer service is tremendous. We got our water tested. We were told about our options in financing in detail. No pressure, just information. Installation was quick, and the CGC team was there every step of the way. And we absolutely love it because it works. Heck, I even think my coffee tastes better because of it. And I love my coffee. A Kinetico system from CGC Water removes up to 99% of contaminants. That's clean. Schedule your free water test today and ask how you can save up to $500. CGC is still taking extra precautions with in-home visits and continuing to follow CDC guidelines. Financing available with approved credit. Call 904-552-1242 for details or visit cgcwater.com. Serving Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia. CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Kinetico dealer.
Life is complicated. We all know it, and all can use the proper support system. You know what else can be complicated? Owning a home. And that's why Rex was built to go beyond the simple real estate transaction. Full-service agents for buying and selling, mortgage services, insurance quotes, escrow and title, even home repair. All one call away. I guess you could call Rex your home support system and not a typical brokerage. Call 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-739-4663. Want more? Of course you do. With all that convenience comes reduced fees too. In fact, the average Rex homeowner saves over $10,000 when buying and selling a home. Want to get started? It's never too soon. Call 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-739-4663. 833-739-4663. Florida license number CQ1057788. For further licensing disclosures, please visit rexhomes.com.
Concerns. 2 more lawsuits filed against Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson for inappropriate conduct and sexual assault, bringing the total to 21. Also today, Watson's lawyer, Rusty Hardin, says he has statements from 18 women who worked with Watson and defended him. The Niners now hold the number 3 pick in the draft. Will they take a quarterback? ESPN's Matt Miller believes they will.
Too many smart people around the NFL will tell you, hey, there's something to this. And I don't think that many people are mean enough to just mess with me about it as a lifelong Niners fan. So I do think there's something to Kyle Shanahan looking at Mac Jones, who there's a lot to like.
Matt Miller on Key J and Z. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reports UConn guard James Bouknight will enter the NBA draft. He averaged 19 points and 6 boards a game this season for the Huskies.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station. Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
The buzz is justified. I've spoken to numerous NFL execs who said Kyle Pitts might be the very best player in this entire draft, regardless of position. He's a weapon. He can block as a tight end, but they love him out wide as a receiver. I spoke to a longtime NFL offensive coach, said it's the best tape he's ever seen for a tight end. And really, Jalen Ramsey would be the only guy you could line him up against that he couldn't beat. Pitts delivered when I was standing next to a few scouts as Pitts ran his 40 time in that 4.45 range. There was a visceral reaction like, wow, this guy is nearly 250 pounds, nearly 6'6", with a nearly 84-inch wingspan doing all this. Falcons, Bengals, Dolphins all have their head coaches here in part to watch Pitts.
That is Jeremy Fowler from ESPN. How about that poll right there? How about that poll right there, Austin Lane?
Jeremy Fowler? I mean, yeah, I guess. I've been more impressed with some of your other guesses. I'm not going to lie. But that's just me. I mean, like, I assume you watched the Florida Gators Pro Day, and I assume that you watched some coverage on it. So I assume that you've heard Jeremy Fowler talk before about the Florida Gators Pro Day today. That's why I'm not impressed, sir.
Yeah, he does have a distinct voice to me, Jeremy Fowler.
Yeah.
Brent Martineau here at the Smoothie King down in Durban.
Didn't his dad do stuff too? Or not?
No. You're thinking Jeremy Schaap.
Ah, yeah, good call. Sorry. My bad.
I'm sure Jeremy Fowler's dad did something.
I'm sure he did too.
Not to take anything away from Mr. Fowler. Austin Lane back in the Action Sports Shack studios along with Coos. We'll talk more about that Gators Pro Day coming up in just a few moments. The ESPN just had an alert about Tiger Woods. The officers, and I think it's a sheriff's office out in L.A., knows the reason for the Tiger Woods crash, but due to privacy, they are not releasing that. They'll need Tiger Woods' permission to release it.
Okay.
Oh, boy. That's full of speculation, isn't it?
Okay. All right. What city was this in again?
I think it was it's basically L.A., isn't it? Where it was? Hang on a second. I'll find it for you.
All right. Because this is important.
Yeah, it's Los Angeles County Sheriff.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's in their jurisdiction.
All right. So.
Rolling Hills Estates, if you want to get a little bit more.
Yep. That's exactly.
If you want to Google map it.
Well, that's exactly kind of what I needed. Hang on one second. Looking up varmint right now in Los Angeles County because it could have been maybe a possum if they have those there. Could have been maybe a raccoon. I'm not sure if deer are really by Los Angeles County. Some kind of hog, perhaps? Or do you think it's something more serious?
Well, I don't know. How serious could it be? From most people want to point to, was he inebriated? And they said right at the scene he was not. They ruled that out.
Well, they said they didn't test him for it.
Well, they ruled it out, and that's why they didn't test for it, is what they basically said. So they didn't test for it because they said, hey, this was – and I think later in the next week or so at a news conference they've said, no, he was not under the influence of anything. They adamantly said that. So – I don't know. I know when you don't reveal something, it comes across like you're hiding something. But quite frankly, I don't know if they're hiding anything. I mean, they might just be saying something to the effect of, oh, boy, it's getting a little windy over here. They might be saying something to the effect of maybe he was going so fast, and that's certainly plausible, that he was going fast, and they just don't want to say how much over the speed limit he was going because I think it's like a 45-mile-an-hour zone. Maybe that's, again, it's a privacy thing, and Tiger's probably not going to reveal it anyway. But, couldn't they just say speeding naturally? They don't have to reveal the actual number.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though, too. If it's a speeding thing, if he swerved and missed, like a varmint or something like that, I feel like you wouldn't wait too long to reveal that. Even if you're Tiger Woods, go ahead and tell him. I don't, what is it to me? But I feel like if it's a little more of a serious thing, if he was texting or, not following the rules of the road per se, well, then you might have some issues there.
Yeah, I agree with you. It'll be interesting to see if anything does come out. But the problem is when you don't say something, and maybe somebody gets it, but if you don't say anything, the speculation continues.
It's time to jump to conclusions. Let's get it. Jumping to conclusions.
The speculation ramps up. Coos, give me a heads up when Mark's on, if he is or is not. We're going to have Mark Long jump in here in just a few minutes. And we'll talk a little bit more about the Jaguars a little bit in their drafting and also what happened today with the Pro Day in Gainesville. The Jaguars and Urban Meyer's all over the place right now, isn't he? Ohio State, Florida. How, from Urban's perspective, we've said this a lot. It looks like he's calling the shots, right? It's a coach-centric organization right now. Is he building the draft board? Is that what you kind of picture? Like, is he on the whiteboard moving guys' names that have magnets to that whiteboard around and saying, no, I want this guy.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
Let's put him in this order.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to have a huge influence on the roads that they take, for sure. Now, I do think that with all due respect to Trent Baalke, I think he does have some input on this, and this is he's the GM, and it's probably still his board, let's just say. Like, he owns the whiteboard, but I feel like Urban Meyer has the ultimate jurisdiction on the board. So, yeah, I agree with you. I think Urban Meyer is kind of making the call here. He's like, this is my first year in the NFL coaching. I want to check all my bases and make sure that I'm getting the picks that I want to coach my team.
Did we take the speed comments a little too far as we kind of wonder what the Jaguars are going to do in the draft and say, okay, now everybody's going to run a 4-3 something because Urban Meyer said, I want speed and we need speed, especially on offense in the receiver position?
No, I mean, like, I don't. Yeah, listen, if you see a 4-3, you can say, well, that's an Urban Meyer guy. But I think Urban Meyer even alluded to this himself, where he talks about the speed in terms of that football speed. You can have wide receivers that can run a 4-5 or maybe even a 4-6, but if they're fast on film and in the game of football, they're fast. So no, I don't think Urban Meyer's looking for the fastest interior defensive lineman or the fastest wide receiver. Now that can help, like, it can make you it can be a game changer from the offensive perspective. But I think he's looking for a football fast type of guys, which is different than track speed.
Yeah, and that's kind of what he indicated. I just think, I wonder if we all have, like, every mock draft I see now kind of has this guy who runs like some crazy speed. And so I'm like, okay, are we getting a little carried away with that? Like, are we going to go back and Urban Meyer and Trent Baalke are going to take some guy in the third round and he's not going to have this super fast time, and we'll be like, well, I thought you were supposed to get fast.
Yeah.
And I kind of believe Urban Meyer was crystal clear on that right from the jump. Like, his first news conference, he says, I want a team that's going to play fast. He didn't say I need them to all run 40-yard dashes fast.
Yeah.
And so I think we do have to keep that in some context. Hey, let's talk more about the Gators Pro Day today, more about the Jags. Let's bring in Mark Long from the Associated Press. My goodness, it's been a long time since we had Mark Long on. Hope you're doing well, my man. And I think the last time we had you on, we have to write you a thank you note for helping out the show with some of your Leonard Fournette comments.
Well, that's yeah. You and I were on that train long before it departed. But yeah, big day, pro day. I don't know. I'm curious. I was just listening to you guys. Can you play fast if you're slow?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe, but I mean, I don't know how fast. Can you play at the level Urban Meyer wants you to play if you're slow? I don't know if that's the case, but maybe. I don't know.
That's a good call, Mark. Earlier in the show, everybody runs a 4-4 now. I mean, you were doing this. You've been doing this long enough. I mean, 10 years ago, even when Austin came out, 4-4 was a special time. And I'm not taking anything away from guys that run 4-4, but it does feel like everybody runs a 4-4. So isn't it to the point now where, like, it feels like everybody's fast, whether you're a defensive end, a linebacker, a wide receiver? Heck, the quarterbacks are fast.
Yeah, no doubt. And even, Trayvon Grimes, who's one of the fastest players, one of the fastest receivers, certainly at his size at 6'5", and he took real exception to somebody asking him afterward whether he ran a 4.5. He shook his head. He's like, "What? No." He's like, "It definitely was lower than that." I mean, you might have. You could have asked him, anything in the world. You asked him if he told him he threw like a 5-year-old boy, and he would have taken less exception to him running a 4.5 today. And he didn't run a 4.5. He said he ran he was timed between 4.35 and 4.41. It is different, but it's also weird because it's hand timed, and you get these ranges. It's real hard to pinpoint anything. Like if you go back to the combine, it's all digitally timed. Everybody's on the same kind of scale. This is totally different, all these hand times. But yeah, I'm with you. It used to be 4.4 was an eye-popping number, and now these guys, it's 4.3. And if you're not in the 4.3s, then you're slow. And a lot of guys are 4.2, high 4.2s, right?
Crazy.
Mark, when you go to the combine and you see these 40 times and these broad jumps and these 3-cone drills, like those always mean something. And those help, propel a guy possibly up the draft board. When you see 4.3 after 4.3 this year at everyone's pro day, and let's be honest, these pro days are designed to benefit the players. I think the combine is designed to benefit the coaches, because at the combine you're going through 5 hours of sleep a night, you're going through meetings, you feel drained, you feel exhausted, and now you have to run your best 40-yard time in Indianapolis. It's different at the pro day. So do you see coaches putting so much stake as they usually do in these 40 times as they do at the combine, or is film going to be the number one deciding factor?
I would be shocked if it's anything but film, really, honestly. I mean, I think you can certainly help your case, and I think Marco Wilson is a perfect example, the cornerback at Florida, best known now for throwing the shoe and costing the Gators the LSU game. But, he was a guy who certainly upped his status, and I think somebody will maybe take a little bit of a flyer on him, and more so than they would have, just because of his times today and his reps and all this. But he also admits that, he spent the last 3 months working out at a camp, an Exos camp in Arizona, preparing for this. And that's probably the difference, Austin, even from, I don't know if you did that, if you went to a camp for 2 or 3 months to just prepare for your pro day. But, normally you do that, maybe you do that before the combine, but now with no combine, these guys have had more time to go to these camps and just on the things that are going to happen at their pro day, and that they haven't changed. Like what would be more interesting is if you go to these pro days and they created something new for you to run. Hey, today we're going to run the 60-yard dash, or today, hey, we're going to run, we're going to run the 100-yard dash today, or something different. But I mean, they all know what's coming. It's the broad jump, it's the 3-cone drill, it's the 40, it's the 225-pound weight. What if they put 300 pounds on there one time and surprise you and see what you can do? I mean, so they're all, they're always just, it's coaching to the test, and that's what these guys are doing. They're coaching to the test. They know the test. They know what the questions are going to be on the test, and they're able to prepare for it. So I don't think it's a very good indicator of what kind of football players are going to be. I certainly think tape should be number one, and if it's not, then I can't imagine these guys will be in their positions for very long if they're not looking at the tape and using tape number one. But with that said, 4 head coaches showed up today: Urban Meyer, Matt Rule, Brian Flores, and Zach Taylor. 4 guys showed up to watch the Gators in person.
Yeah, I think a lot of that too is Mark Long with the Associated Press with us here on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. I think a lot of that's kind of like what we do in interview sessions, Mark. It's like, hey, if you're there and you can get a little nugget here or there, like if you're in person, maybe somebody else tells you something about Kyle Pitts or Kadarius Toney that you hadn't heard yet or you didn't see, and some of that's just I want to see him up person. I want to put a little pressure on him. But I'm totally with you guys. I think the pro days now, it's like an Ivy League kid make an honor roll in high school. I mean, it's a foregone conclusion that some of these things are automatically going to happen. And I think it's film, and I actually think interview comes into play next. And I think down the list is this pro day. You've covered Kyle Pitts. You've watched Kyle Pitts. He's a special guy. Is there a sense that he's any bit overrated? I mean, people are just gushing about Kyle
your
Pitts.
Mouth.
That's what I said. That's what I said to him.
Stop.
Unbelievable.
Shut your mouth.
That's what I said to him.
Guy, yeah, unbelievable. Come on, Brent. This guy's fantastic. You've seen him play. If you've talked to him, you know that he's a good human being. He's a really good human being. He's not going to embarrass your franchise. I mean, he's got the NFL shield tattooed on his left pec. That, to me, that jumped off the chart to me today. If I'm an NFL team and I see, here's this guy, and maybe I can't imagine he did that, but my guess is that's the goal. That's always been the goal for him. And you tattoo it on your chest to remind yourself that this is the goal, to play in the NFL. He's a good kid. He's never been in trouble. He says the right things. He does the right things. I can't imagine that this guy would be overrated at 2 or 12 or anywhere in between. If the Jags weren't picking 1, I'd be standing on a rooftop somewhere screaming that the Jags should be taking Kyle Pitts. I think he's fantastic. I think he's going to be a stud star right out of the gate, and there is zero chance this guy is a bust.
Brent, you happy with that? Yeah, that's that answer. The guy's got the NFL shield tattooed on his chest, and he's not in the NFL yet, man. Okay, listen, I can get Rihanna's name tattooed on my arm. Doesn't mean I'm going to be with Rihanna the rest of my life. Probably not going to happen. I love the mentality that Kyle Pitts is bringing to the table. Brent, take note, please.
Sounds like you're safe, Cody. That's good.
Oh, I would say so. Yeah, we're all
Listen,
good.
I'm not trying to suggest he is. I just feel like, listen, we've done this with Trevor Lawrence for the last few months, right? We know he's hyped, but I feel like with Trevor, he's been hyped since 8th grade. He delivered in high school. He delivered at Clemson. Like, there's no evidence that he won't deliver. And I'm not saying that Pitts hasn't delivered. I just feel like he is, along with Trevor Lawrence, I think he is second to Trevor and maybe first as the guy that is hyped the most in this draft. And that's a lot to live up to for both guys, not just Trevor, but Kyle Pitts too.
I'm starting to think Zach Wilson might be in that conversation, but and some guys can handle it and some guys can't. I think Kyle Pitts can handle it. He said it today. He's like, at the end of the day, with all the preparation and through the years, I feel like I'll be the best to ever do it. And, he's not a guy who's made a lot of headlines with his mouth.
True.
But today it was, there was a little bit of, it gave you a little insight into what this guy's doing. The measurables are off the chart. What we've seen, his moves are off the charts. And now even his mindset, his mouth, whatever you're going to call it, off the chart. And I would be stunned. I would absolutely be stunned if he's not the real deal.
Mark, if the Jags end up with Kadarius Toney at 25, first of all, do you think that's a chance that they go that way? And if they did, would the Jags fan base or should the Jags fan base be excited?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to go that way. I just think they've got too many holes on the other side of the ball to not address those that early with that pick. And maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm not seeing this. I know Urban wants another receiver, but when you look at, the two guys they got in free agency, the two guys they're returning, three guys really, if you throw in Colin Johnson, I'd be a little surprised if they went there at that pick, knowing that, they really do need probably a third cornerback. They probably do need, more help at the pass rush. They probably do need, another interior defensive lineman, especially with Tyson Alualu, having the reverse course. They definitely need a safety. So, and you can't you're not going to rebuild that. They brought back 5 defenders you didn't think they were going to bring back. I thought said goodbye to all 5 of those, thinking, there's no way. They re-signed 5 guys. I thought we'd never come back. They're all back. So to me, you haven't touched that defense enough. So I'd be a little surprised. But if they do, I think Jags fans could be excited. I mean, Kadarius Toney was way faster than I thought. And not that he wasn't fast. I thought he had this burst and he was quick, but I thought the 40 would be would maybe test him, the range of it. I'm not saying it's a 60 or 100 yards, but I just thought he wouldn't do quite what he did today. And when he ran 4.38, I was pretty impressed. I thought, okay, that's and even though we sat here and we said everybody runs in the 4.4, 4.3, I still was a little surprised that he was down that far. And clearly the guy took a huge step last year, caught almost everything thrown his way, can be a special teams upgrade, and is a legitimate receiver, not just a slot receiver, but I think he can play just about anywhere out there and make you better and do some of the things that Urban wants to do, which is, those end arounds, the things that we thought Curtis Samuel would do if he signed with the Jags. I have no doubt that Kadarius Toney could and would do those things for the Jags. I'd be a little surprised if they went that direction. If you go quarterback and receiver first round.
Austin, it sounds like it might have been a 39.5-yard swamp sprint in Gainesville today.
I know, you're not lying, or else they're running downhill a little bit. And hey, Brent, listen up, man. I understand that we have lawyers on standby, we have lawyers on retainer, but I'm not going to sue Mark Long for plagiarism because literally verbatim, said the exact same thing that I said to you when you asked me how I'd feel about Kadarius Toney going to the Jaguars at pick number 25. It's insane.
Hey,
we're on the same page.
By the way, this is scary for one of you, if not both of you, that you're both saying the same thing.
Exact same thing.
I know
Mark.
both of you, and that's scary.
I'm with you, man.
I feel like you guys need a third person on the show. I'm coming in, and we're just going to – and then the two of us, me and Austin, are just going to team up on Brent every day.
That sounds like a plan. Because our poor producer can't take much more. So I agree. We need somebody new to gang up on.
Hey, let me leave you with this. It's been a while since we caught up with you, but where's your confidence? You know, Urban, your confidence level in all this, as you've seen. It's now we're like 77 days into Urban. There's so much momentum around here. There's a buzz around here. How do you feel about what's going on in Jacksonville, and do you think it's going to work? Are you a believer in Trevor? Are you a believer in what they're building?
I am a believer in that he is ripping up the playbook that the Jags have had for 2 decades and plus. And I'm not talking about the on-the-field playbook, because I think he's going to rip that up too. But I'm just talking about the franchise playbook. And it's been the same thing, and it's been a little bit of wash, rinse, and repeat around here. And to me, you know, he's been handed a little bit of a silver platter here with the number 1 pick and Trevor Lawrence. But I'm just talking about everything else. You know, he clearly spent money on his coaching staff. He's planning to spend money on the facilities. He's, you know, I heard, you know, he's wiped out, basically taken over the majority of the offices in the building there, and people are working up in the press box that he's taken away office space to expand everything. So what he's doing is changing the playing field for the Jags, and I think that, to me, is what gives me confidence that he's not coming in, and that it was a good hire, and that he's not coming in here and saying, I'm going to do things the NFL way. He's coming in here and he's going, no. This NFL team's going to do things my way. My way has been proven to be a winner at Utah, at Bowling Green, at Florida, and Ohio State. I know better than they've known for 2 playoff appearances in the last 20 years or whatever it is. And I know better than them, and we're going to do things my way. And that's what gives me confidence in Urban Meyer, that he's not coming in here and kind of bowing to the way the NFL works everywhere else. Looks like he's going to come in here with some clean ideas, some fresh ideas, and rip it all up and do it right.
Yeah, he's gotten it, no doubt about it. I kind of like that idea of it, too, with Urban Meyer. All right, Mark Long, Associated Press, thanks for stopping by, man. Come on, come do it more often.
Anytime, guys. Anytime. Yep, right. You got my number.
You bet. Mark Long from the
All
Associated
right.
Press.
Thanks,
Appreciate it,
guys.
bud.
Thank you, man.
You got it. It's going to be a fun few weeks around here as the calendar flips tomorrow to April 1st, and we get the countdown to the draft. You know, it's funny. You said that what he echoed about Kadarius Toney. It's really what I've echoed about Urban Meyer. I believe that, too. I think he is ripping the studs out of Jags headquarters, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, before they actually do it someday and renovate the building, he's actually lifting it up off its bearings.
Yep.
And it needs it. And what I've said to people, too, is I just don't know how big Urban's going to win. I think he's going to win, but I don't know how big. I think that's hard to predict. But I do think he's going to change the guts of this place to make it successful for him. And if someday down the road it's got to be somebody else. I think it does need that kind of refresh based off the last couple of decades, especially the last dozen years. I agree with Mark on that front. Hey, you got a Shock Your Mocker ready to go?
I got one, Matt. It's going to be a little different today. Kuz mentioned it yesterday. Let's give it a try.
All right, we're going to do it. Shock Your Mock on the way. We're live at Smoothie King down here in Durban. Come say hello. Free samples as well. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Breezy and very warm today under partly sunny skies with a widely scattered afternoon shower or thunderstorm. Highs in the upper 80s. A few showers tonight and dropping to near 60 degrees. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 and Fox 30. Action News Jacks from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm TV meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where right now you can get 5 years, zero-interest financing with nothing down.
I should have my kid tell you about Jumpin' Jack's House of Food. It's Ty's favorite burger in town. Make it one of your favorites as well. Jumpin' Jack's House of Food has 3 locations now, Atlantic Beach, Mandarin, and downtown Jacksonville. Change your life burgers. But they have salads, pizza, and much more on the menu, too. Let Jumpin' Jack's House of Food be your great neighbor. Lunch or dinner with the family, or they will cater parties from 2 to 500 people. Jumpin' Jack's, HOF.com for online ordering. Jumpin' Jack's House of Food, open 7 days a week.
Ever finally get around to trying something and it's so much better than you expected, where you're mentally kicking yourself for not doing it sooner or wondering where it's been your whole life? That's how Griffin customers feel about their Florida-rated AC. They even tell me,
we're never going back to regular AC.
And it's the same for our Florida-rated water heaters, too. It's so much better, our customers wonder why no one told them about it before. Well, we fix what others can't. Tired of having to run a shower or faucet for 3 minutes before you actually get hot water? We can fix that.
Nice.
Tired of Jacksonville's swampy hard water hurting your appliances and hair? We can fix it.
Naturally.
Tired of a tank water heater going bad every 5 to 8 years or running out of hot water?
Yep.
Griffin can fix that big time.
Oh, yeah. I never knew I could have hot water as soon as I turn on the tap.
And my hair could be so much healthier. And my appliances can last longer.
Well, you can, but only if you call
GriffinService.com.
1430-261-1250-697.
Where else can you get luncheon, brunchin', boozin' specials? Only one place, at Culhane's Irish Pub at Atlantic Beach and on the south side. It's as Irish as you can get, owned by 4 Irish sisters. And they've got fish and chips, of course, shepherd's pie. Go today for lunch or dinner. Eat in, order out. Culhane'sIrishPub.com for the full menu. And try the new 5 Sisters vodka at happy hour. Luncheon, brunchin', boozin' specials, and so much more. 2 locations, Atlantic Beach and the south side. Culhane's Irish Pub, Irish Sass with 5-star class.
No matter what you are driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of the Fields Auto Group dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields first and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com.
Welcome to Moe's and good morning at Moe's. In St. Augustine only at 312 and US 1, it's the only Moe's in the country serving breakfast burritos. Try it. You'll love it. Full breakfast menu only at the St. Augustine location. They put the fast in breakfast. Made to order in the drive-thru. Try the Home Wrecker breakfast burrito. Your choice of bacon, chicken, or steak with scrambled eggs, shredded cheese, and seasoned potatoes. Served daily at 6 a.m. St. Augustine location only. Make it a better morning with Moe's.
CGC Water has been telling you, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Still not a believer? Well, you can believe me. My family has been a happy CGC Water customer for 4 years now. Customer service is tremendous. We got our water tested. We were told about our options and financing in detail. No pressure, just information. Installation was quick, and the CGC team was there every step of the way. And we absolutely love it. Because it works. Heck, I even think my coffee tastes better because of it. And I love my coffee. A Connecticut system from CGC Water removes up to 99% of contaminants. That's clean. Schedule your free water test today and ask how you can save up to $500. CGC is still taking extra precautions with in-home visits and continuing to follow CDC guidelines. Financing available with approved credit. Call 904-552-1242 for details or visit cgcwater.com. Serving Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia. CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Connecticut dealer. There is a taste of the islands in every drop of Vida de Luis tequila, imported directly from Tequila, Mexico to Jacksonville Beach. Vida de Luis is the only locally owned tequila in Jax Beach. Support local and try Vida de Luis. Award-winning, smooth, all natural, no aldehydes or additives, which means wake up feeling good the next morning. Find out where you can pick up a bottle of Vida de Luis, Blanco, Reposado, or Añejo. Just visit VitaDeLuis.com. Support local and taste the islands in every drop.
Is your home not feeling very new anymore? Sick of that pink bathroom tile, popcorn ceilings, a stove older than you are? Whether it's repairs or reno, finance it smart with a Honeydew HELOC from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union, where you can borrow up to 90% of your home's appraised value. You've got good taste, but your block counters ain't cheap. So get to work and open a Honeydew HELOC with 1-to-1 Financial. When you do, we'll send you a free handyman tool set to get started. Apply online at 121fcu.org. Federally insured by NCAA.
What if the music stopped? If the familiar voices were silenced? If there were no breaking news updates? What if your companion and connection to your community came with a monthly fee? Don't worry, we're free local radio with you wherever you go, celebrating 100 years and looking forward to the next 100. We are broadcasters. Text radio to 52886 and let Congress know you depend on your local TV and radio stations. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Welcome to Moe's and good morning at Moe's. In St. Augustine only at 312 and US 1, it's the only Moe's in the country serving breakfast burritos. Try it. You'll love it. Full breakfast menu only at the St. Augustine location. They put the fast in breakfast. Made to order in the drive-thru. Try the Home Wrecker breakfast burrito. Your choice of bacon, chicken, or steak with scrambled eggs, shredded cheese, and seasoned potatoes. Served daily at 6 a.m. St. Augustine location only. Make it a better morning with Moe's.
If you're usually listening to ESPN 690 in your car, but your boss has you working from home this week, well, take us with you. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Austin Lane from ESPN 690 and Action Sports Jax. Tell Amazon Echo or Google Home, play ESPN 690, and enjoy all that sweet listening coverage.
Brent Martineau.
Never heard of what happened in Iowa yesterday, and I don't even know how to pronounce the name of it. Derecho.
Austin Lane.
Iowa State Cyclones. You should call them the Derechos. You can shorten it up, call them the Chos. Why not, man? I'm into it.
Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Am I talking or is Brent talking right now?
I'm trying to consume this right now.
Okay, we'll consume away.
What Kuz said is this will go along with what's about to happen.
I guess so.
So I'm trying to figure that out.
I mean, we talked about it yesterday, dude.
We did?
Yeah.
Yesterday was a long time ago, man.
I guess so. Just going to sit in silence and waste my whole segment here before we got to go to break, or what are we going to do?
I'm kind of just taking it all in. But go ahead. Shock Your Mock time is here.
Cool, switch it up.
He is none other than the Shock Master!
Gonna shock yo mock. We're gonna shock yo mock.
Brutality, don't you think?
Shocking. Gonna shock yo mock. We're gonna shock yo mock.
Shocking upset.
I feel shocked. Shock yo mock. We're gonna shock yo mock.
I am shocked. I am shocked. That's what I mean. I am.
What will happen today on Shock Your Mock? Let's find out with Austin Lane.
So, if you remember yesterday, we talked about ASMR, which I'm not really too familiar with. I know that was a thing on a Super Bowl commercial. That's about it. So, Kuz wanted me to do an ASMR Shock Your Mock today, right, Kuz?
Oh, yeah.
It's called ASMR?
I think so, yeah.
And it's got to whisper, be calm, and make sounds, right? Like have like a very sultry voice is what you told me.
Do you know what this means?
Kind of like, no, I don't.
Autonomous sensory meridian response.
Are you kidding me right now?
There you go.
Did you Google that or you just know that?
I just looked up what the hell is ASMR.
Okay. So I have to have what came up. I have to have a sultry voice, right, Kuz? Almost like a Luther Vandross or a baby face.
And like, not to make it weird, but some people have like a fetish for this.
Well,
that's not awkward at all for this whole thing.
Here's what else. It's a tingling sensation that typically begins on the scalp and moves down the back of the neck and upper spine.
See, there you go.
Okay. So Kuz said I have to sound sultry. I think you said I have to make some noises. Okay, let's get into this.
Make my spine to tingle.
All right. Unbelievable. That's really a bad way to start out Shock Your Mock, but let's get into it. So I got to be sultry. Is that good, Kuz, like this?
I think it's good, yeah.
So we're going to Andrew Vaughn, at Bishop Drew V. At Twitter. I can't talk like this the whole time, so I'm going to beef it up a little bit. Okay, so we're going to Andrew Vaughn, Bishop Drew V at Twitter. Kuz, did we have a message from this guy or anything, or is it just pretty standard Shock Your Mock stuff? I think he just tweeted us and said Shock Your Mock hashtag. All right, so no trash talking. We respect that a lot. Oh, by the way, I'm drinking out of some water right now. Check this out. Let's get into it. Pick number 1, Trevor Lawrence, quarterback out of Clemson. Duh. Hey, Brent, let's go ahead and get this guy a T-shirt right now. And while you get him a T-shirt, I'm going to bang these bottles together because I saw this in an ASMR video. Banging some bottles together. Hey, Warriors, Come out and play. There we go. Pick number 25. It's hard to be this sultry and this calm because he just picked Xavion Collins, middle linebacker / outside linebacker, but we're going to call him a middle linebacker out of Tulsa. I don't like this play at all because, well, you have Joe Sherbert there already and you have Miles Jack. So what are you doing? As I take a bite of fish with my ice cream scooper because I forgot my silverware. 1 second. I just got a Brussels sprout. Nasty. Okay, next we got Rondell Moore, wide receiver out of Purdue in the second round. I think there's great value there. There's great speed. You know how Urban Meyer feels about speed, and you know how I feel about Rondell Moore. Excuse me. I like that pick a lot. Next is Pat Freiermuth. What else is new? Who doesn't have Pat Freiermuth these days? Next, we got Tommy Togai, interior defensive lineman at pick number 65. And then I guess this guy just kind of quit because he only, I'm sorry, there's 2 slides here. My bad. Got to get more sultry again. Hold on. Here's some headphones making noises. Oh, and there's a bird in the background. Okay, and we're back. So then he takes running back pick 106, Trouba Hubbard, who I really like actually out of Oklahoma State. This guy was supposed to be in the Heisman contention, just kind of fell by the wayside a little bit. Oklahoma State kind of underachieved. I don't mind the Trouba Hubbard pick. I think he's going to be a dynamic playmaker in terms of receiving and running ability. Oh, what's this, Kuz? Finally, and I mean finally, at pick 130, we got a draft. What do we got? Because we got a button to play right now. Louder. I mean, let them know about it. Play it one more time. Draft need alert. Oh, yeah. We got a draft need alert. Draft need alert. Safety. Caden Stearns.
I'm not tickling anymore.
Pick 130. Don't worry, though. Hey. Everybody relax. Let's go back down now. Let's go back down to where we were. We had a draft need alert at pick 130. I had to let them know. From there, and I'll be honest, the way this guy sent this draft, it doesn't make any sense because he's got, okay, whatever. Pick 145, Jack Anderson, interior offensive line. Pick 170, Josh Ball, offensive tackle. Oh, what's this? Do we have a draft need alert? Don't play the button, though, because it's the last pick of the draft, and I'm not excited about it. He's got William Bradley King. I don't even know what William Bradley King is. I didn't do any research on it, but he's got him playing the edge at pick number 249. Okay, so let's have an overall consensus right now as I spray some Raid bug repellent into the microphone away from my face. And I just got it on my fat head, and that was a huge mistake. We're going to have to wipe that up later. The cleaning ladies are not going to be happy with that, everybody. But with that being said, why did you take Xavion Collins at pick number 25? He's an inside linebacker. Let's not try to put a square peg into a round hole and put him at outside linebacker. Let's keep him on the inside. And if you keep on the inside, well, that spot's taken. So you just picked a guy in the first round at pick 25 who's going to be riding the pine for a little bit. I don't like that at all. Your team is 1-15 last year. We need guys that can come in and make an impact right away. Xavion Collins is a beast, but he's a beast at the inside linebacker position, which I cannot get behind. Here's a plastic glove.
Oh, boy.
Why are you
What?
Why are you getting the plastic glove?
Because that's what you told me to do.
Okay,
you told me to make sound. Am I doing it wrong?
There were some implications with that one.
Sorry. What do you want me to do?
No, you're okay.
You said get random things and make random sounds. Am I not doing it right?
No, you did it right. You're good.
Okay, sorry about that blow up, everybody. Kuz is starting to make me upset a little bit. I mean, if it's not the stream chat logo, it's something else with him, but it's okay because it's a Thursday and we're almost to the weekend. So don't correct me, Brent. And by the way, I still have that Brussels sprout in my mouth that I put in about a minute ago. So with that being said, Andrew Vaughn, once again, I can't come with you on Xavion Collins, okay? Rondell Moore, not bad. Pat Freiermuth, let's get it. But where's the safety? Where's the edge? Those guys aren't getting addressed till later rounds, and those are depth plays per se. So I hope that you enjoyed this sultry, this ASMR. Oh, here's a cowbell. Let's take it off a little bit. Let's take the bass off and just not. There it is. I hope you enjoyed this ASMR broadcast of Shock Your Mock, but let's be honest. I mean, you'll get a T-shirt because you picked Trevor Lawrence, and maybe Brent can send you like a Smoothie King voucher. Congratulations on your T-shirt. I hope it was worth it, but let's keep Xavion Collins out of Jacksonville. Although, I do respect Xavion Collins a lot. Here's a battery hitting the desk. And there we go, everybody. This has been Shock Your Mock. Brent, you want to finish it up here?
ASMR style. Your mock has been shocked.
It's been so
Wake
shocked.
up.
It's been
no
so
more
shocked.
spine tingling.
Woo. How was that?
That's really a thing. Like, you did an excellent job with that. But that's
Thank you, man.
really a thing. Like, people sit through that. How long are these ASMR sessions?
Goose?
Oh, I don't know. They're like.
Don't act like you don't. Don't act like it's not your thing. It's okay. Everyone gets their freak on some way, and that's okay if this is your way. It's not a big deal, dude.
No. I honestly don't know. I can look up though.
I bet you don't. Brett, you should have heard him. You could have swore it was Urban Meyer giving like a TED talk on how to run the vertical offense. Kuz gave me a 10-minute PowerPoint of, all right, so you got to do this at this certain time and then bring out the bottles at this certain time. I'm like, okay, dude, obviously you're pretty versed in this. Right on. It's all good.
Very good, Kuz. Very well executed, by the way, Austin Lane. You're a good coach.
Yeah, Kuz. Appreciate you, man.
Let's take a break. We come back. Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690. Wake up. We need some energy around here.
Somebody get a cigarette. Was it good for you?
You know, here's the problem with all that. Somewhere in there's a massage joke to make, and they just don't want to do that.
What is this, man? That's softball, Brent. We're way past that point.
That's true.
We're good.
I got a serious question. The guys that opted out, should you be concerned about their stock in the draft? Is that going to be a red flag for teams? Let's talk about it next on ESPN 690.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
Happy Hump Day. I'm Jake Mitchell. The NFL and the owners have added a 17th game to the NFL season. That means the Jags will have a 17th game this year. It will be a home clash against the Atlanta Falcons. And in NCAA news, the Final Four has all of its teams as UCLA upset the #1 Michigan Wolverines to take a spot, and then Gonzaga stays perfect as they become the only top seed to make the finals. Here's Freddie Coleman, ESPN radio host, talking about Mick Cronin, UCLA's head coach.
So many people completely crushed this hire by UCLA. Mick Cronin said, here's the deal. We're going to build a program, and I'm going to build it my way. I know how to find players. I know how to get players. And everybody said, oh, man, this is going to be a terrible hire 2 or 3 years from now. You guys are going to regret it. Here we are 2 and 3 years from now, and Mick Cronin doing it his way, and he's in the Final Four.
The Sports Center Update is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Kellerman Show.
The Nets started out the season without James Harden, who's their second best player, and have played recently without Kevin Durant, who's their best player. Also, when Kyrie joined the team, he and Harden had to figure things out. There was an adjustment period. And so the Nets' record does not reflect, their entire record does not reflect the team they've become.
The Max Kellerman Show, weekdays at 2 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Watch exclusively on ESPN+.
I should have my kid tell you about Jumpin' Jack's House of Food. It's Ty's favorite burger in town. Make it one of your favorites as well. Jumpin' Jack's House of Food has 3 locations now, Atlantic Beach, Mandarin, and downtown Jacksonville. Change your life burgers. But they have salads, pizza, and much more on the menu, too. Let Jumpin' Jack's House of Food be your great neighbor. Lunch or dinner with the family, or they will cater parties from 2 to 500 people. Jumpin' Jack's, HOF.com for online ordering. Jumpin' Jack's House of Food, open 7 days a week.
Life is complicated. We all know it, and all can use the proper support system. You know what else can be complicated? Owning a home. And that's why Rex was built to go beyond the simple real estate transaction. Full-service agents for buying and selling, mortgage services, insurance quotes, escrow and title, even home repair. All one call away. I guess you could call Rex your home support system and not a typical brokerage. Call 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-739-4663. Want more? Of course you do. With all that convenience comes reduced fees, too. In fact, the average Rex homeowner saves over $10,000 when buying and selling a home. Want to get started? It's never too soon. Call 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-739-4663. 833-739-4663. Florida license number CQ1057788. For further licensing disclosures, please visit rexhomes.com.
They just don't make them like they used to.
People say that a lot, and sometimes it's true, but not for air conditioners. Manufacturers actually make them better than they used to. It's just that local AC companies don't install them like they ought to. Old school rules of thumb and yesterday's shortcuts simply sabotage new school systems. Can new technology give you more comfort with longer service life? Only if the AC tech knows how to properly engineer it for your home and how to install it right. So techs that don't understand inverters, low voltage controls, and how to configure the software, dip switches, and refrigerant charge for Florida humidity, they'll totally turn it into turd buckets, especially if they just do a swap the box install without fixing your ductwork and airflow. My point, the better the technology, the more important the install. At Griffith Service, we fix what others can't, but it's best to have us install it right from the beginning. So if your new system ain't working right or your old one needs replacing, call
GriffinService.com.
1250-697.
Firefighters, paramedics, police officers. They take care of us, and at AMCO, we're proud to take care of them. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. As an essential business, we work on every kind of car repair with flexible financing and extra safety precautions. Essential, reliable, trusted. That's the men and women who are there for us, and it's our honor to be there for them. AA MCO.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at amcojacksonville.com.
No matter what you are driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of the Fields Auto Group dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields first and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com.
Smoothie King is blending goodness to fuel your greatness. They make sure every blend is crafted to help you achieve your health and fitness goals. Smoothie King uses whole fruits and only organic veggies. You'll never find any sugary syrups or artificial flavors, colors, or preservatives in the smoothies. And unlike some other smoothie places, there are 0 grams of added sugar in many of the blends. Skip the line and place your order online now at smoothieking.com for contactless pickup or delivery. Smoothie King, rule the day.
Wendy's is serving up the hot breakfast of your dreams. From the sweet and savory honey butter chicken biscuit to the breakfast Baconator with 6 strips of oven-baked bacon. Wendy's breakfast will leave you floating on air. So don't get burned by bad breakfast ever again. Ow! Choose wisely, choose Wendy's, and get the breakfast you deserve. We got you.
At participating U.S. Wendy's.
Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Zubin Mahente.
I despise analytics. It felt like Kevin Cash lost his ability to feel the game.
Keyshawn, Jay, Will, and Zubin. Weekday mornings at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio or streaming live on the ESPN app.
Justin Fields is not falling, but he doesn't feel like a lock to be the second pick, which is what it felt like he was before this season began. And here's what can be said about him, I think comfortably. Of the 5 quarterbacks who will go high in this draft, the most physically gifted is Justin Fields. That's inclusive of everyone. That's inclusive not only of Trey Lance and Mac Jones and Zach Wilson, it is inclusive of Trevor Lawrence.
Hey, Greenberg, don't knock Trevor Lawrence. He's the best at everything. That's it. Simple as that. Brent Martineau here down at Smoothie King in Durban. Come by, say hello on your way home from work, if you will. And Austin Lane back in the Action Sports Shack studios. Hopefully he's not falling asleep after using all those different sound effects over the last 10 minutes or so.
No, I'm good.
Okay, good. I think we have Steven on the line. Let's get to him. Action Sports Shack's on ESPN 690. What's up, man?
Hey, not too much. How you guys been? It's been a while.
Not too shabby, man. How you been?
I was sick as heck last week. That's why I didn't call at all. But I'm glad y'all mentioned my name Friday. That was awesome.
Anytime, man. Yeah, obviously you're part of the syndicate. We got to show some love every once in a while.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it. My question is, since, we're talking drafts, and I'm not asking for help on mock drafts. You already did mine Friday. Where would you go? Because a lot of people on mock drafts, some have Trevor Moore going before 25.
Yeah.
So, in your opinion, would you still go to one of the other guys like Richie Grant or the guy from FSU? I can't pronounce his name, and I don't want to butcher it. Or would you possibly go edge rusher, which wasn't addressed in free agency? Joseph Asai, they had a Zoom call with. Jason, I guess that's how you pronounce his last name, from Penn State. Or maybe Kwity Paye might be there. Personally, where would you go?
All right, thanks, Steve. Appreciate the call. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Well, you just mentioned a lot of names because I think there's a lot of places the Jacks can go, Austin.
For sure.
I mean, again, you're going to bring into question, do you want a guy to make an impact right away, or are you going for depth and long term? And because you feel like you can do that a little bit. Did you need a lot out of Taven Bryan year one? No, the hope that he would grow into things in year 2, 3, and then blossom. Because that's what you do with a 28th overall pick. In the 25th overall pick, I think you can do that. I don't think you have to have this just crazy impactful guy. But the Jags are coming off a 1-15 season. You've been consistent with that. You'd like to get somebody who's going to make an impact right away.
Yeah, so what do you think? Where are they going to go for? And then I'll answer after you.
Well, if it's not safety, I still think they would – I think then you go get one of the best available offensive weapons that can change your offense. Because I don't think there's a lot of spots left on defense to go play right away. I really don't. I mean, I think if you're going the edge stuff, I think you got to really ask yourself, are you upgrading? And if you're not, then that means that's a depth play. I think a guy that could be more impactful is probably on the offensive end.
See, I think obviously you look at safety first. If Morig's gone there, then I'm not going to reach up for the second best available safety because I think Morig is, head and shoulders above everybody else. I think that if safety is off the table, then you look more towards the defensive side of the ball. Now, once again, it all depends who gets taken. If there's an edge rusher there that is too good to pass up, then maybe you go with that. Because keep in mind, he may not be the starter right away, but you're going to get him involved on third down packages when it's a for sure passing situation. So you're still getting some value there in starting a guy right away. Also keep in mind, too, the defensive tackle depth as well. Yes, you lose Tyson Alualu. You lose depth at the nose tackle spot. But once again, how confident are we in Devon Hamilton being a starter possibly? I know you bring in Harris, from Chicago. You bring in Ward from Baltimore. There's some good pieces there. Are they going to be the starting pieces? I think Harris for sure. Ward we'll see. So I think you can still bring in some more depth from the interior defensive line as well, whether it's another nose tackle or a defensive end or a guy that can kind of be interchangeable, and then you get him out there on third down and pass rushing situations once again. So I think there's value there in terms of maybe he's not a bona fide starter, but you put him out there in special needs and you get your money's worth the first year.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of places to go for the Jags. And again, I would say it, I like that situation. At 25-33, you might not get a super impactful player, but as you start to build this thing over 2-3 years, that player may pay huge dividends for you down the road, even if not in year one. So that's the beauty of the collection of picks the Jaguars have at 25, 33, 45, and then some. Brett Martineau, Austin Lane, football at 5 coming up. I do want to ask about the opt-outs in their stock moving and shaking. We're going to get to Major League Baseball predictions, by the way, as well, and that includes the only station in the country that predicts leadoff hitter of the year. That is on the way. And, hey, remember Austin Kim joined us yesterday?
Yeah.
Augusta National Women's Amateur off to a good start, man. Even par. That's tied for 7th after day one. So we'll keep you posted. She is finished with her round. Play has been suspended up there in Georgia. We'll be back. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Welcome to Moe's and good morning at Moe's. In St. Augustine at 312 and US 1, it's the only Moe's in the country serving breakfast burritos. Try it. You'll love it. Full breakfast menu only at the St. Augustine location. They put the fast in breakfast. Made to order in the drive-thru. Try the Homewrecker breakfast burrito. Your choice of bacon, chicken, or steak with scrambled eggs, shredded cheese, and seasoned potatoes. Served daily at 6 a.m. St. Augustine location only. Make it a better morning with Moe's.
CGC Water has been telling you if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Still not a believer? Well, you can believe me. My family has been a happy CGC Water customer for 4 years now. Customer service is tremendous. We got our water tested. We were told about our options in financing in detail. No pressure, just information. Installation was quick, and the CGC team was there every step of the way, and we absolutely love it. because it works. Heck, I even think my coffee tastes better because of it. And I love my coffee. A Kinetico system from CGC Water removes up to 99% of contaminants. That's clean. Schedule your free water test today and ask how you can save up to $500. CGC is still taking extra precautions with in-home visits and continuing to follow CDC guidelines. Financing available with approved credit. Call 904-552-1242 for details or visit cgcwater.com. Serving Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia. CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Kinetico dealer.
Spay or neuter your pet. Help them live a longer, happy life. First Coast No More Homeless Pets has free and low-cost programs available now. Make your appointment today. Call 425-0005, 425-0005, or fcnmhp.org.
Slip and falls can be embarrassing, leaving you in pain and feeling like you've lost control. I'm Glenn Levine from the law offices of Anajar and Levine. After a fall, document the scene by taking photographs. Make sure to get medical attention for any injuries you may have. If you've been injured in a slip and fall, call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation. And take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
This message is sponsored by the Florida A&M University Medical Marijuana Education and Research Initiative, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
Pro or against? That seems to be the only thing that matters these days in the marijuana discussion. But what about the facts? At Mary, we've taken it upon ourselves to lay it all out there in our podcast. Just pure, unbiased education about medical marijuana and unlawful use of cannabis. Find it at mary.famu.edu. That's mmeri.famu.edu.
We are the entertainment you love and information that shapes your day. We are your lifeline. We are your companion. We are broadcasters. Text radio to 52886 and let Congress know you depend on your local radio stations. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Where else can you get luncheon, brunchin', boozin' specials? Only one place, at Culhane's Irish Pub at Atlantic Beach and on the south side. It's as Irish as you can get, owned by 4 Irish sisters. Yeah, they've got fish and chips, of course, shepherd's pie. Go today for lunch or dinner. Eat in, order out. Culhane'sIrishPub.com for the full menu. And try the new 5 Sisters vodka at happy hour. Luncheon, brunchin', boozin' specials, and so much more. 2 locations, Atlantic Beach and the south side. Culhane's Irish Pub, Irish sass with 5-star class.
Goodyear knows the importance of keeping momentum as you head down the stretch. Momentum starts with movement. It's pulled from the air like a contested rebound. Momentum builds with steals and fast breaks, and is proven by deep threes as the shot clock expires. Momentum is how we change the game, and now it's time to discover where it can take us. Goodyear, more driven.
We're all ready for spring. Now's the time to get ready for spring projects with help from the Home Depot. Install a brand new faucet, lay down fresh new flooring, roll on a bright new coat of paint. Need to figure square footage or paint coverage? Our project calculators will do the math. Do it all from our app and get delivery right to your door. Download our mobile app to get started. Bring on spring with innovative help from the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
County now know what caused Tiger Woods' SUV crash back on February 23rd, but that information will not be released publicly unless Woods gives his permission to do so. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports the Seahawks will sign wideout Tyler Lockett to a 4-year, $69 million contract extension, $37 million guaranteed. That deal will also save the team $8 million against the salary cap this year. Mets shortstop Francisco Lindor is asking for a 12-year, $385 million contract. According to ESPN's Jeff Passan, one of his teammates, Pete Alonso, says why not?
Not only is he has the physical resume, but how he works and how he is, it's unbelievable. I think he deserves any contract that he signed.
Pete Alonso on Barton Hahn. One Nationals player has tested positive for COVID-19. 4 teammates and a staff member have been quarantined for contact tracing.
The next generation of paint protection is here. New 303 graphene nanospray coating will provide up to 12 months of professional level protection, insane water beating, and jaw-dropping shine with one simple application. Visit 303radio.com for more information.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station. Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
I would take Justin Fields. And some of that is, like to your point, and I know we talked about this morning, is that he is physically dominant. And I know a lot of people say, well, quarterback might be the one position where you don't have to be physically dominant. But wouldn't you rather have that? Like, if everything were equal, wouldn't you rather have the guy who was 6'3", 230 pounds, ran a 4.4 in the 40-yard dash, and, oh, by the way, even going back to high school, he was player 1B to Trevor Lawrence's 1A. And I know some recruiting sites even had it flipped where Justin Fields was ranked higher. He's been in the spotlight since he was a sophomore in high school. He's a great leader. And I look at, actually, watching the film and breaking it down, I think there's a misconception about what the Ohio State scheme asked him to do.
Oh, man, who is that? I got to feel, is that like the old Alabama quarterback, and his name is not coming to mind right now, who does a lot of the SEC network and the color commentary? What the heck's his name? Why can't I think of it right now? I don't think I'm going to get this one. It wasn't like Field Yates or anybody like that. I think I'm on the right path, but his name escapes me at the moment.
It was ESPN NFL draft expert Matt Miller.
That was not who I was thinking of.
The Zach Wilson guy.
Of?
You're asking the wrong dude.
Gosh, I'll get it within the next few minutes. But Matt Miller. Okay. I thought we banned Matt Miller from the show.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we gave him an ultimatum.
I just had to sneak it in,
How much you paying you, Coos?
Well,
Yeah,
listen,
a little off the
you
top.
gotta get your money where you can.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Hey, I hear you.
Hey, football at 5 here. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 live at Smoothie King down here in Durban. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Coos along for the ride on the last day of March. And then when we flip the calendar to April, and boom, it's draft time. I'll tell you what, I was on a couple sales calls today, and even just, the folks that don't live in the world we live in are just so fired up about, from TV perspective, radio perspective, about the season. Not necessarily just the draft, but about the season. You can really feel it, and it's cool. I think the calendar flip in April now makes it a reality. We've been talking about it for so long, but here we go. It's about to get here. Good thing we didn't ban anybody named Eric on the show, because I think Eric's on the show right now on the line. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. What's up, man?
Hey, Austin. Hey, Brent. How you guys doing today?
Doing good, man. How you doing?
Good. Another wonderful day in Jacksonville, man.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just want to know real quickly, because Austin, I heard you talking about pass rushers and whatnot. I want to know what you think about Justin Houston, since Olu went back to Pittsburgh or whatnot. What you think about Justin Houston, and would you guys give up a second-round pick to get Ertz and a second-round pick next year to get Ertz from Philadelphia to tied in? And let me guys know what you think, and I'm going to get off the air, okay?
I appreciate it, man.
Thanks,
those are two great questions, two fantastic questions. Justin Houston is a guy that doesn't get a lot of shine. Now, he's 32 years old. I played with him in Kansas City. I saw firsthand in terms of the capabilities that this guy can bring to the table. The thing with Justin Houston is that the age is going to throw you for a loop a little bit. But keep in mind here, Bob Sutton worked with Justin Houston in Kansas City, got some of his best years out of him in Kansas City. If we go over, his total, let's be honest, what are his sack numbers, right? His quarterback sack numbers, because that's the most important thing when we talk about an edge rusher. He had 8 sacks in 2020, 11 sacks in 2019, 9 sacks in 2018, and then 9.5. So he's been consistently getting around the 9 to 10 range. I know he had that one year where he had 22 sacks back in 2014 for the Kansas City Chiefs. I think he's definitely appealing. I think he's appealing from the style that he could bring from the outside linebacker spot. because Joe Cullen likes big guys to stop the run. I compare him to like a Parnell McPhee. If you watch that Ravens-Titans playoff game last year, Yannick Ngakoue essentially got pulled from the game because the goal was to stop the Titans running game and Derrick Henry. So they put Parnell McPhee in place of Yannick Ngakoue. Now they sacrificed the pass rushing capabilities of Ngakoue for the run capabilities of Parnell McPhee. I think Justin Houston's to the point of his career where he's still a strong dude, where he can still do both of those things. His numbers in terms of the category of sacks would say that. And I will say this too about Justin Houston as an edge rusher. When you look at edge rushers, the first thing you're going to look for is the first step, right? Can they still get off the ball? Justin Houston's not going to win any kind of track meets, but that's okay. That's not his style. Justin Houston is a power rusher. He specializes in the bull rush and then the stab to rip pass rush moves. The cool thing about those moves is that those can last a little longer in your arsenal, because whether you're an MMA fighter or you're a football player, the last thing to go in your arsenal and your skill set in your toolbox is your power. Your speed is going to go before your power does. Well, Justin Houston specializes on power. Now, it's got to be for the right price and all this type of stuff before we get ahead of ourselves here. But I think he's definitely a guy you can at least take a gander at and see what he's asking for.
That's interesting. By the way, Damian Wilson is a former Chiefs linebacker, Dallas Cowboys linebacker. Field Yates reported in the last half hour that he's making a visit to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't know if that does anything for you, Austin, but that's just a little bit of news on that same kind of front. You played with Houston, right?
Correct.
What kind of addition would he be? Because I've been harping on this all really the last month, ever since free agency. They got a lot older. What kind of help from that standpoint at 32 years old would he be?
I mean, I think from an experience standpoint, obviously there's going to be leadership there. That there's going to be a guy who, has spent a lot of time in some pretty great locker rooms in terms of defense, and he knows what to look for. I think from the outside linebacker spot, you're going to have a guy who's the strong side, obviously, because he's a bigger body type of guy. You're not going to ask him to drop in too much of coverage. So you're essentially taking a guy that would play the Josh Allen role. So I don't know if he would be a starter. You move Josh Allen to the weak side. There's some things that you could do there, and keep in mind that's going to be on the base packages. When you go to the pass rush packages, then you can move him to 3 technique. You can have him on the outside. You can do a lot of different things. But I think from a leadership standpoint, he was always a great teammate to me. I played alongside him. So, yeah, I think it could be definitely an intriguing hire. But a couple of things. Is he 100% healthy? I don't have the answer to that. Is his mind still in it? I'm not sure if he's even, trying to play football this year even. So there's a couple of unanswered questions there. But once again, having Bob Sutton as your senior defensive analyst only helps the situation in terms of Urban Meyer trusting somebody to say, hey, this guy was good for me when he played for me. We should maybe take a look at him.
The old kick the tires. Why not, potentially? Did we answer both Eric's questions?
No, we didn't. And then it's the Zach Ertz question.
Oh, Ertz. I think a second's too much, Eric. I feel like that. Am I wrong? I just don't. It sounds like he wants out, right? I mean, I think that's pretty crystal clear, which means Philly would probably want to trade him. Second seems pretty high for Zach Ertz for me, but I understand the Jags are desperate.
Yeah, a second is a little rich for my blood as well. I think a third-round pick would be the most ideal scenario. Obviously, a fourth-round pick would be fantastic, but I think a third-round pick would be fair for both sides. As I look at the numbers, as I look at the games started, only played in 11 games last year, 15 games the previous season, then 16 a full schedule in 2018. It all depends how much this guy's got left in the tank. I think we saw last year a little bit with Zach Ertz when Dallas Goedert got hurt, where he was kind of relied to be on to be the guy, but he couldn't produce like he wanted to. Now, once again, how much of that falls on Carson Wentz, literally, and having the anomaly of a year that I think he had, where it just wasn't the Carson Wentz that we're accustomed to seeing. So if you're a coach, I'm not sure if there's any Eagles ties there where they have the inside information on Zach Ertz. The biggest question comes down to is Zach Ertz's performance last year based off him, or is it based off Carson Wentz? If you can answer it's more on Carson Wentz than it was on Zach Ertz, then yeah, I say a third-round draft pick all day. No ands, ifs, buts about it. Regarding how this draft plays out once again, if Kyle Pitts somehow gets to you, then Zach Ertz will see you later. But if Zach Ertz is still there, you don't have Kyle Pitts and the third-round picks at the table, why not?
I appreciate the call and the questions, and you listen. And Eric, thanks very much. You can do the same. Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690 on social media, of course, at 904-362-9901 as well. Phone lines are always open, or at least 99% of the time. I do think this, Austin, real quick on the Ertz front, or wherever the chart says for value and points. This is where the Jags, I really don't mind if they want to go give away a couple of picks, just make them like a mid-rounder and like a fifth or sixth rounder, whatever it is, throw a couple at them, because the Eagles might want that because they need to kind of rebuild that roster a little bit and kind of turn it over, and so it makes a little bit more sense for them. The Jags have so many draft picks these last couple of years. You're going to be cutting those guys anyway. You're going to be cutting some of the draft picks. Now, I understand from an organizational point of view, hey, Brent, do you want 5 lottery tickets or do you want 11 lottery tickets? Yeah, I get it. But still, what's the likelihood you're hitting the lottery versus the likelihood you're wasting a pick? And so I'll take the Zach Ertz for giving up a couple of mid-round type of selections that might not factor in as much as, say, a second rounder or a third rounder. I think that's where the Jags could get creative, being more of a driver's seat position, depending on which teams they want to dance with. I've had this question the last couple of days. So I really want to get to it. We talked Shaun Wade a little bit yesterday. We talked Marvin Wilson. They went back to school, and they hurt their draft stock in a major way, like out of the first round. I mean, we're not talking like dropping 10 picks. Out of the first round kind of picks, and maybe even beyond, like a big drop. There are guys like Jamar Chase who opted out. Penei Sewell opted out. They're going to still go. I don't see many red flags, although I wonder, given next to Devontae Smith and what he did, Waddle, and because of his reputation, although he kind of fits in this category too because he got hurt, and Kyle Pitts and what he did, I wonder if picking any of those guys, you drop a guy like Jamar Chase more to the back of that group because he didn't play. How much will guys get hurt in this draft, not the way they're being mocked, the way they're going to be picked because they opted out, Austin? Do you think that's a red flag and a concern for teams?
You mean like actually hurt themselves in terms of like a physical sense, like sustain an injury?
No, I mean hurt themselves being drafted. They were going to be picked 8th, but they dropped to 18th.
Because they chose to stay another year, essentially.
And not play. Yeah. But opt out of college that year. And so, like the Farley kid, we didn't see him play. I mean, so is he a little bit out of sight, out of mind? Did you get enough tape? You have no recent bias? Like, you're now just going off 2 years? I mean, the kid hasn't played football in 2 years.
Sure. Yeah, I get what you're saying here. I think in terms of, NFL, I don't want to say NFL, but in terms of, like, football training programs, like during an off season or during a time that you're not on a team, they've come such a long way with the technology and all that stuff, where if you get drafted in a certain spot and you haven't played in a while, like from the standpoint of will it hurt your game, I don't think so. I think those guys will be ready to go. Now, from the terms of not playing a college season, choosing to sit out, and then having some other guys maybe in your same position group from different schools come up a little bit, well, yeah, that's kind of on you. I think Sewell, regardless of what he did, you saw enough. You go by word of mouth. You go by what you see on film. This guy sticks out above the rest. I think if Kyle Pitts would do the same thing, obviously Kyle Pitts could do the same thing. To me, it's about like positions, and it's there's such a gray line here, Brent, because I could say edge rusher. I could say if an edge rusher chooses, let's say going into this up-and-coming season, let's say we're still going through a pandemic, and let's say this up-and-coming season, you have an edge rusher last year who maybe had 11 or 12 sacks, which is really good at the college ranks. And let's say that he chooses to sit out for the up-and-coming year, and then he's going to go to the NFL draft. Okay. Well, let's say during that time, 3 or 4 other guys get double-digit sacks on other teams. Well, you're still going to remember that guy that 2 years ago that had that great season, but now and once again, we're going off numbers here. The numbers say, well, geez, there's 3 or 4 guys here that are really good. Let's take more looks at these guys. Like, to me, it's what have you done for me lately in terms of the competition. Now, offensive tackle, it's different because you don't have stats to go off of, right? I think, I think sometimes defensive linemen can get away with it because defensive linemen in terms of defensive tackles, if you have sacks, that's great, but you're looking more for how explosive is this guy? How good are his hands? It's not the end-all, be-all if you don't have 10 sacks a season as a defensive tackle. So there's different positions where I feel like you can get away with it more than others.
Yeah, that makes some sense to me. Like a guy like Jalen Twyman, right? You're just talking about defensive tackle. He opted out. Obviously, Rondell Moore. We said Penei Sewell, Jamar Chase. I guess in this exercise, it really feels like the guys that are more impacted are the guys that went back.
Yeah.
I mean, again, Shaun Wade had a chance to sit out, and I think he would probably be a top 15 pick.
Yeah.
He'd probably be a top 20 pick at worst. I think Marvin Wilson does not play college football last year, does not go back for the first year of the Mike Norvell era. And he's maybe a top 10 pick, although the way the quarterbacks were sliding up, probably a top 15 pick.
No,
and these guys lost tremendous value. So I guess in my question, like I thought maybe I feel like the front office, I would be, if I'm picking something in this draft and I have not seen that person play football in over a year, that's concerning to me. It feels like, oh gosh, okay, he hasn't been playing. Like, is he going to be rusty? Is he going to be this? Okay, he's healthy. Well, that's a good thing. But that, to me, is my first instinct. But at the end of the day, if you look at some of the guys that are going to be picked high and some of the ones that opted out, given the circumstances, I actually think the Wades and the Wilsons, guys that went back to play, hurt themselves way more than the guys that opted out.
So I think they hurt themselves, obviously, financially. Because you're talking about maybe some first-rounders now. They're out of the first round, so you're talking millions and millions of dollars. So they hurt themselves financially. But at the same time, if you take a Wade or a Wilson from one year to another year, it's not like their skill set just fell off and all of a sudden they're bad football players now. Like, to me, they're still the same football players. Now, maybe there's injuries. Maybe there's something else that's not getting them their best potential per se, but they're still the person that they were the year prior. And I think of like a Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert could have came out, literally a year earlier and probably have been fine. But Justin Herbert chose to go back to Oregon, chose to play another season, had that Rose Bowl win, led his team to a victory, and had a pretty good year. Now, it wasn't a great year. No one was saying, oh, Justin Herbert came back, he's number one. No, nobody was saying that because obviously Joe Burrow came along.
Yeah, true.
But I think Justin Herbert did himself actually a service by saying, hey, I'm coming back another year, more experience, more time to get comfortable at the quarterback position. And then what happens? He finds himself in the most perfect situation in L.A. right now with a high-powered offense, great receivers, and just, I think, a great situation to be in. So, like, one could say, well, Justin Herbert might have hurt himself a little bit because he probably went higher than what he was going to go if he didn't go out last year. But at the same time, he's in the perfect case. The same thing could possibly be said for Wade or Marvin Wilson, where it's like, all right, maybe you missed out on a couple $1 million here or there, but maybe you're more confident, maybe you're more seasoned now, and you're going to find yourself in a better situation where you can shine.
I really like what you just did there. I like that. And this goes back to the conversation I had yesterday a little bit more. And this is where I think I lean this way. I think Shaun Wade and Marvin Wilson have dropped so significantly, at least in the mock drafts. Now we'll see if they get drafted higher than the mock drafts are going. But if the mock drafts are even in the same zip code, those guys have dropped so significantly, Austin, that you're right, they're costing themselves a bunch of money.
Yeah.
But I also said yesterday, I think those guys are going to present a ton of value for teams picking in that second, third round, wherever they might land. I think Marvin Wilson's a good player. I think Shaun Wade's a really good player. And so I think teams are going to benefit from them going back and maybe having disappointing senior seasons. I'm okay, everybody, but there is a fire truck on the way out here. So that's a great call, too. And I know Herbert didn't, drop down to, number 22. But it's a great call in terms of what they did. He was looked at. He's like, why didn't he come out? He goes back. He didn't even have this, unbelievable year when he came back. But he turns into a guy who's more seasoned, experienced, mature, all those things that check the boxes to present him with a year like he had last year, undoubtedly the Rookie of the Year in the NFL. I really like your call there. And I think I really look at guys like Wade and Wilson, and I'm telling you, man, let's talk about him again in 2-3 years, and I guarantee you whoever took him is going to end up with a ton of value on those guys.
Well, and that's the thing from their perspective, too. Is there some sort of, disappointment because you're probably not going to be a first-rounder and make that first-round money? Well, who wouldn't be disappointed for not making a couple $1 million?
Absolutely.
Like, anybody's going to be disappointed for that, and I'm sure there's going to be some second-guessing as well. But when you look at the positives of it, and you look at the pros of it, listen, you got another year in college. You got another year to learn and get better. And, yeah, I get it. That first-round contract, it's great. That signing bonus is great. But you know what's better? And you know what the real deal is? Signing your second contract when you're one of the best players at your position. Signing that second contract laughs all over that rookie contract. So that's what they should be focused on now going forward.
No doubt about it. I think it's a great point. I love your Herbert. I think if I was their agents, if I'm their parents, if I'm in their camp, I'm like, look at that right there, Herbert. And there are other examples. But that's an example of what you did. Even if you didn't play your best, it's going to pay off for you. And again, Herbert's a little bit different because he's picked in the top 10 anyway. But I'm talking performance. Forget about where you're picked, how much money you're making. I'm talking performance. And sometimes maturity and the experiences and the chip on your shoulder that you create because of it really will pay dividends down the road. I'm with you here, man. I think, again, I want to have this conversation. I might be dead wrong. But Wade and Wilson are two of the guys that I want to keep an eye on a couple years down the road and see how they are doing. Happy hour horn time here on a Wednesday, last day of March, 5 o'clock hour on the road from Smoothie King down in Durban. Let's hit it.
Taste the islands and every drop of Vida de Luis tequila. 100% blue agave from Tequila, Mexico. Good vibes.
It's a celebration!
VitaDeLuis.com. Check it out. Blanco and Añejo Reposado. Taste of the islands in every drop. Locally owned tequila. All the way from Tequila, Mexico to Jacksonville Beach. Check them out at VitaDeLuis.com. Taste of the islands in every drop. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Major League Baseball opening day tomorrow. Well, we better make some predictions, Austin Lane.
Get it.
How are your Brewers going to be? My Red Sox are still in the middle of the pack. I mean, what happened? I thought we were supposed to spend more money than anybody else, and then we pulled a Babe Ruth trade and get rid of Mookie Betts, and now we're nothing. We're just nothing. I mean, the Rays are a bigger thing. The Blue Jays are a bigger thing. The Mets are bigger than the Reds. What are we doing, Boston?
Yeah, Brent. I'm sorry, man. Condolences.
I got to root for something. Who's going to win the MVP? Who's going to win the Cy Young? Oh, the predictions.
Leadoff hitter of the year? The Austin leadoff hitter of the year?
The only station in the country that does leadoff hitter of the year.
Let's go.
We're giving it to him.
Let's go.
We should send whoever does win it a trophy. Or at least one of these Shock Your Mock shirts.
I like it. Well, hey,
we'll be back.
Aaron Hicks, let's go, man. Come get yours right now, dude.
No Yankees can be picked. We'll be back on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert Forecast on ESPN 690.
Clouds moving overnight with scattered showers and perhaps a thunderstorm redeveloping later on as we drop to near 60 degrees. Clouds and a shower early will give way to clearing skies through the day on Thursday, but it'll be windy and cooler with highs in the upper 60s. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where right now you can get 5 years, zero-interest financing with nothing down.
I should have my kid tell you about Jumpin' Jack's House of Food. It's Ty's favorite burger in town. Make it one of your favorites as well. Jumpin' Jack's House of Food has 3 locations now, Atlantic Beach, Mandarin, and downtown Jacksonville. Change your life burgers. But they have salads, pizza, and much more on the menu, too. Let Jumpin' Jack's House of Food be your great neighbor. Lunch or dinner with the family, or they will cater parties from 200 to 500 people. Jumpin' Jack's, HOF.com for online ordering. Jumpin' Jack's House of Food, open 7 days a week.
Hey, boss, check this out. You're never home alone, and you're never away from home with Safe Touch.
What now? Never home alone. Now that one I get. It's because of the two-way communicator.
Yup. Any emergency, and you're talking with the operator in seconds.
Right. Never home alone. Yeah, but what about this never away from home thing?
See, with SafeTouch's smart home automation, you can control your house from anywhere.
What, is it that smartphone thingy again?
Yeah, with the SafeTouch app, you can check your camera feeds, turn on the lights, drop the AC down, lock the doors. Boss, it's like you're there.
Never away from home. Never home alone, never away from home. This changes nothing. I still hate SafeTouch, and we still gotta stick to the Crooks or Us golden rule. Stay away from SafeTouch houses. I need an aspirin.
Crooks know to stay away from SafeTouch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of SafeTouch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call SafeTouch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Life is complicated. We all know it, and all can use the proper support system. You know what else can be complicated? Owning a home. And that's why Rex was built to go beyond the simple real estate transaction. Full-service agents for buying and selling, mortgage services, insurance quotes, escrow and title, even home repair, all one call away. I guess you could call Rex your home support system and not a typical brokerage. Call 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-739-4663. Want more? Of course you do. With all that convenience comes reduced fees too. In fact, the average Rex homeowner saves over $10,000 when buying and selling a home. Want to get started? It's never too soon. Call 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-739-4663. 833-739-4663. Florida license number CQ1057788. For further licensing disclosures, please visit rexhomes.com.
There is a taste of the islands in every drop of Vida de Luis tequila, imported directly from Tequila, Mexico to Jacksonville Beach. Vida de Luis is the only locally owned tequila in Jax Beach. Support local and try Vida de Luis. Award-winning, smooth, all natural, no aldehydes or additives, which means wake up feeling good the next morning. Find out where you can pick up a bottle of Vida de Luis, Blanco, Reposado, or Añejo. Just visit VitaDeLuis.com. Support local and taste the islands in every drop.
What defines a hero? Dedication, loyalty, courage. Every day at AMCO, we serve heroes. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. From complex transmissions to simple brake jobs with flexible financing and the extra safety precautions we need. The heroes we serve don't all wear uniforms. They're people like you. At AMCO, we're proud to serve all of you. AA MCO.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at amcojacksonville.com.
People have been isolated for months by COVID-19. If you're concerned for someone who may be experiencing sexual violence or in need of confidential anonymous information, please call the Florida Sexual Violence Hotline at 888-956-7273 or go online to fcasv.org. Help us end sexual and dating violence in Florida. This message is sponsored by the Florida Department of Health, the Florida Council Against Sexual Violence, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
Smoothie King is blending goodness to fuel your greatness. They make sure every blend is crafted to help you achieve your health and fitness goals. Smoothie King uses whole fruits and only organic veggies. You'll never find any sugary syrups or artificial flavors, colors, or preservatives in the smoothies. And unlike some other smoothie places, there are 0 grams of added sugar in many of the blends. Skip the line and place your order online now at smoothieking.com for contactless pickup or delivery. Smoothie King, rule the day.
This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Welcome into the show, a name you know. If you've been listening and watching ESPN for a long time, I know you know him. We're going to call him one of the forefathers, if you will, of sports radio, Mike Greenberg.
Thank you. Forefathers is an interesting, that's fascinating. Every day, as I talk to more people, I get older and older. So that's kind of funny.
Listen weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. in your car or stream them. ESPN690.com.
Brent Martineau.
But we could really take this show off the rails if we wanted to go all like half politics, half sports.
Austin Lane.
I mean, have you been on Twitter lately? Do you want extra $100,000? Do you want a scholarship? Let's go politics when we get back here.
Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
I love the analytics, and the problem is what are the applications from the analytics that is going to help you be a better player and going to help you be a better team. And so if you go overboard on anything, my dad used to say all things in moderation. You're getting a whole lot more data, and then you got to ask yourself, well, what is our competitive advantage with this data? And I think a lot of the math guys are looking at things and trying to find trends and then trying to put that into application for teaching. And I'm a little concerned about that. When you start to teach to the analytics, there's still an art and an understanding, and no two players in the big leagues hit exactly the same. Their swing path is not the same. Their strength is not the same. Their exit velo is an indication of their potential and how hard they hit the ball off the bat. But in my day, you sit around the cage and go, man, that sound is different when this guy hits the ball as opposed to somebody else, which is a different way of just saying that the ball comes off his bat faster.
Man.
That's a former player in my day.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of felt a little Cal Ripken-like, but I don't think where would Cal Ripken be talking?
It's got to be some kind of John Kruk.
Nah, that wasn't Kruk. I'm shooting the Kruk down. Was that John Kruk?
Waiting on your idea.
I'm gonna go with Dale Murphy.
No, it wasn't Daniel Murphy.
I said Dale Murphy.
It wasn't Dale Earnhardt Murphy. No, it wasn't him. What do you say?
That was
shooting that down right now.
Cal Ripken Jr.
Yeah.
Dang it, I had it.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
man, I had
points.
it.
That's almost minus points.
Oh,
You
Brent.
talked yourself away from it.
Gosh.
That's almost minus points for that one.
He was on
That's satisfying.
He was
That's
on
good.
Greeny 2 days ago.
That's good stuff right
Son
there.
of a gun. I had it. I knew it.
I just got a new sense of motivation for my workout tonight. I love it. Yep.
All right, who's keeping tabs on the MLB predictions? Somebody's got to write it down. I can't write it down.
What do you mean you can't write it down?
I mean, I'm drinking a smoothie here at Smoothie King. I'm trying to look things up. I don't have a computer in front of me. I got to remember who even plays in the American League West.
Sure. Fine. All right, I'll write it down. Hang on. Let me get – because you got like 10 different just random sheets of scratch paper just hanging out. All right, give me a second.
By the way, while we have this second, go to ESPN
690.com
and vote for our Athlete of the Week, brought to you by Honda The Avenues. You can do that. Nominees are up. And go vote. Might be a baseball player in there, a softball player in there. I think a lacrosse player in there, too. So go vote, ESPN690.com. You ready?
I'm going to use Kuz's wedding invitations because we're not, useless now, so we're good. Right here.
Those might be the new invitations.
This is a thick thing of paper. You guys didn't spare any expenses when it came to invitations.
Listen, I didn't have anything to do with that.
You didn't. I bet you didn't, Playboy. Let's get it.
All right, here we go. Let's start. Let's rip through this, okay? We begin in the American League because that's how I always read the paper, American League first.
All right. Just do all things that you want to do. Let's get it.
And who reads the paper anymore anyway? Sorry to all my friends. But Major League Baseball season starts tomorrow. Now, the answer to that is nobody reads the paper anymore. But hopefully you can find them online.
Ouch, Brent. Dang, man.
The American League, man, I want to try so hard to not put the Yankees in it, but I also have to be right. The Yankees are absolutely loaded. They went and got Jamison Taillon. They got Corey Kluber to go along with last year's big get of Garrett Cole. Their pitching I always have thought was a big concern, and I'm going with the Yankees. I'm going to say they choke at the end, but I'm going with the Yankees to win the AL East because I think they could play C-level baseball with that roster and still win the AL East.
Yep, I got the Yankees as well.
Okay, we're both there. We go to the American League Central, and this is a good one now. The White Sox are supposed to be good. The Indians have been good, but they're kind of in like a reshuffle mode. And can the Twins keep it up? White Sox had a big injury already this season. I'm going to say their time isn't yet, and my man Rocco continues to get it done. Baldelli, manager of the year already. Minnesota Twins win the Central.
What a homer. I'm taking, let's write this down real quick. I am taking the White Sox. I think the White Sox showed a little bit of what it could be last year, and I think they make good on it this year. I got the White Sox winning the AL Central.
Hope you heard that, Dilla. Send me a hat, not Austin Lane.
Shout out to the Southsiders. What, he's not a – oh, he's a Twins fan, yeah.
The West took a chance last year, went with the Angels. They disappointed in a mighty way. The Astros, are they still the team to beat? The A's always pull something out of there. You know what? I'm going with the Astros.
Me too, man. Yeah, I think the Astros are just too good. Yeah, sometimes they cheat, but if you're not cheating, you're not trying. So I like the effort. I like the Astros.
Hey, by the way, I'd be all for the Jags cheating if it turns into wins. Like, I don't care. I'll put up with all that. You can hate us, everybody. Let's find out 5 years after they win the Lombardi, though.
Some would say starting Mike Glennon over Gardner Minshew was indeed cheating.
That's a good point.
I didn't say
Maybe
that.
they did.
Hey, I didn't say that. I'm just saying people out there could say that.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
All right, you got a couple wild card teams in the AL.
Yeah,
I'll go if you want.
We're going 2 of them, right? Hopefully.
2 of them, yeah.
Thank God. All right, so I got the Angels. I think this is the year the Angels actually make some noise. They make the playoffs. So give me the Angels and give me your boy Rocco Baldelli. So, hey, Dilla, send me a hat as well. And by the way, I couldn't even pronounce Rocco's name right. I'm sure you heard that, man. I said Baldelli because I'm not sure how you pronounce it. So Angels and Twins. Baldelli, Angels and Twins.
This is tough now because you got the Rays and I think the Blue Jays. I think the White Sox. And I do think the Angels have a chance with the A's to be good. Man, it's a lot of teams. I'm going with the Blue Jays. I think their time is now. Super loaded, man. And I'm going to stay away from the White Sox, and I'm going to give the Angels another swing here and make the playoffs. So I'm going Angels and Blue Jays as my 2 wild card teams.
Okay. Your MVP and Cy Young winners, because we did that last year. This was your idea, by the way. So
I know.
Let's make good on that.
MVP, how about this, man? Ohtani for the Angels. Had an unbelievable spring. He's got Mike Trout on the same team, but I'm going to go with a long shot here. Like, if I could play this in Vegas, I'm going to win big if he does get it done. Ohtani, 2-way player. His bat's alive. He's now settled in. Let's see if he can bring it big in the AL. I'm going to go with him as the MVP.
You ready for this one? And this is your, this is your out there kind of bet. But I'm just saying, this year, Brent, when you read about MLB teams, who seems to be like the Cincinnati Reds of last year? Like who's got some hype right now, saying that they could go to the playoffs, even though we haven't heard from them in a while in terms of making a playoff run? If you're to name one team.
Well, I would say
you mentioned them before.
I'd say the Blue Jays.
Boom! Nailed it. If the Blue Jays are going to do good this year, who do they need to have a big time season?
Guerrero?
Yes, sir. Give me Vlad Guerrero Jr.
And he lost a lot of weight,
Yeah, and obviously that can make a big difference in anything in life. It just gives you a new lease on life. It does. It puts you in a better mood sometimes. So give me Vlad Guerrero Jr.
Okay. How about Cy Young?
I have chalk all day Garrett Cole.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. The National League Cy Young is a really good one to argue back and forth on. The American League is a lot more difficult. Like, Cole could walk away with this. He's got to be, I don't know what the Vegas odds are, but it's got to be a big-time favorite.
Yeah,
I'm going to go with outside the box anyway, and I'm going to take Tyler Glasnow with the Rays.
Okay.
They're not going to make the playoffs or anything, but he's going to have a big season, and that's doable with the Cy Young. You can win it if he has a big season. I'm going to take him over Cole because Cole's a Yankee.
All right, fair enough.
We go to the NL. This is going along swimmingly, by the way, so far. In the NL, the East. To win the East, the Braves, the Mets, the Nationals all have a chance.
Mm-hmm.
The Mets are so much improved, but they just seem like they're the Mets.
It's the Mets, right? Yep, we're on the same page.
But I'm going to say in 2021 it comes together for the Mets.
Oh, wow.
And the Mets win the East.
Oh, wow. All right. Got you down for the Mets. I'm taking the Braves. I think the Braves showed something last year. There's unfinished business, to say the least. I think they improve on it. I think they're hungry. Give me the Braves.
This is a division of futility at times, the Central.
Yeah.
You can win this one with about 83 wins.
Yes. Yes, you can.
There is not a great team in the Central.
Careful.
The Cardinals have a winning pedigree. The Cubs have some big names. The Pirates are absolutely awful and can't even be considered.
No. Who are they? No.
In your Brew Crew, I just feel like they missed their window.
It's your opinion?
Yelich, though, has to be better than he was last year.
Correct.
Gosh, I want to do this just for my father-in-law and pick the Reds.
We're doing the Reds again. We're doing the Reds again.
I can't.
Didn't we put that to bed? What did I say? The Reds are always going to be the Reds.
Yeah,
okay?
they're just not good enough. I'm going to say the Cubs surprise, and they beat out the Cardinals.
Gross. Absolutely gross.
Oh, by the way, go to Colhane's Irish Pub tomorrow, 2:00. Cubs open up, and that's a Cubs watch party there. Over there at Colhane's Irish Pub.
Oh, they got a Cubs watch party over there?
Yeah.
I'm calling the cops on them noise ordinance. Can't wait. Shutting that down real quick. It's a Brew Crew, baby. You know who I'm taking? Brewers, Hader coming back. Christian Yelich, do better, right? So I don't have to have a heart attack like last year and then go on this big tirade about how you and Giannis are breaking my heart. I like the Brewers.
Yeah, by the way, a great story on Rasmussen today. I don't know if you got a chance to see that, but I tweeted it out. Will Salmon wrote it. I'll give you the credentials for The Athletic if you want to read it, but it's a really good story.
I'm going to need those.
In the West. All right, folks, I'm not going chalk here. The Dodgers look like the 1927 Yankees. Mm-hmm. Everybody's taking the Dodgers. The Dodgers,
I know
again,
it's coming for you.
Much like the Yankees, can probably play C-level ball and get the playoffs. But I think the Padres are coming, man.
I knew it.
I think the Padres are building this thing. The Padres, people don't want to pick the Padres because they're the Padres.
Exactly.
But the Padres are good. Like, they're legit. They're like a legit 100-win team. The problem is the Dodgers might be a 112-win team. But I'm going with the Padres.
I understand the Padres had the best, offseason of any MLB team. I get that. A lot of firepower. I think the Dodgers are the more complete team top to bottom. And at the end of the day, I don't pick the Reds because they're the Reds, and I don't pick the Padres because they're the Padres. So give me the Dodgers.
Okay, I'm going to take the Dodgers as a wild card and the Braves as a wild card.
All right. Let me hang on. You're asking a lot of me right now. So Braves and the Dodgers?
Yep.
All right. I will be taking, let's see here. I had the Padres and the Cardinals.
Okay. That must pain you to pick the Cardinals.
It picks me to pick both the Padres. And I'm kind of rooting for the Padres just because they are the Padres. But, yeah, the Cardinals really hurt me deep. But at least it's not the Cubs.
All right, so then what do you go, Cy Young and MVP?
I'm going Acuna for MVP, and I'm going chalk with DeGrom for Cy Young.
Oh, man, I was going – DeGrom hit like 102.5 miles an hour in spring training?
I know.
Did you see that?
I did.
He's already unbelievable.
That's why I picked him.
I mean, he's already incredible.
Yeah.
And now he's got an offense that might score more than a run a game for him. I got to go DeGrom, too, until he shows me something different, although – I mean, what's his name out in L.A.? I mean, I go, what's his name out in L.A. if you really want to pick a Cy Young. And then MVP, I'm going Juan Soto. Can he put up enough numbers to impress so much even if they don't make the playoffs? That's tricky, but I'm going Juan Soto.
All right. And last but not least, the one that everyone's been waiting for,
leadoff hitter of the year.
Colton Wong, Milwaukee Brewers, having a great spring training. He's the real deal. Tim Kirch will be talking about him in the next couple weeks or so, trying to steal from me. But leadoff player of the year, put it down, put all the mortgage on it. Don't really do that, but Colton Wong.
I'm assuming Mookie Betts is hitting number one for the Dodgers again.
Never heard of him.
I'm going
Colton Wong.
Leadoff Hitter of the Year award.
Colton
the
Wong,
only
baby.
place that gives off a Leadoff Hitter of the Year award.
Colton
right
Wong,
here.
Come collect it right now. I got it waiting for you.
Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Why did you make a Babe Ruth trade again, the Red Sox? Why did you get rid of Mookie Betts? Now you're no fun. The Red Sox stink. I don't even care about the Sox this year. But it should be a heck of a baseball season. It all starts tomorrow. We'll be back on ESPN 690.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
Happy Hump Day. I'm Jake Mitchell. The NFL and the owners have added a 17th game to the NFL season. That means the Jags will have a 17th game this year. It will be a home clash against the Atlanta Falcons. And in NCAA news, the Final Four has all of its teams as UCLA upset the number one Michigan Wolverines to take a spot, and then Gonzaga stays perfect as they become the only top seed to make the finals. Here's Freddie Coleman, ESPN radio host, talking about Mick Cronin, UCLA's head coach.
So many people completely crushed this hire by UCLA. Mick Cronin said, here's the deal. We're going to build a program, and I'm going to build it my way. I know how to find players. I know how to get players. And everybody said, oh, man, this is going to be a terrible hire 2 or 3 years from now. You guys are going to regret it. Here we are 2 and 3 years from now, and Mick Cronin doing it his way, and he's in the Final Four.
The Sports Center Update is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Welcome into the show, a name you know. If you've been listening and watching ESPN for a long time, I know you know him. We're going to call him one of the forefathers, if you will, of sports radio, Mike Greenberg.
Thank you. Forefathers is an interesting. That's fascinating. Every day, as I talk to more people, I get older and older. So that's kind of funny.
Listen weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. in your car or stream them. ESPN690.com.
Smoothie King is blending goodness to fuel your greatness. They make sure every blend is crafted to help you achieve your health and fitness goals. Smoothie King uses whole fruits and only organic veggies. You'll never find any sugary syrups or artificial flavors, colors, or preservatives in the smoothies. And unlike some other smoothie places, there are 0 grams of added sugar in many of the blends. Skip the line and place your order online now at smoothieking.com for contactless pickup or delivery. Smoothie King, rule the day. CGC Water has been telling you if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Still not a believer? Well, you can believe me. My family has been a happy CGC Water customer for 4 years now. Customer service is tremendous. We got our water tested. We were told about our options and financing in detail. No pressure, just information. Installation was quick, and the CGC team was there every step of the way. And we absolutely love it. Because it works. Heck, I even think my coffee tastes better because of it. And I love my coffee. A Kinetico system from CGC Water removes up to 99% of contaminants. That's clean. Schedule your free water test today and ask how you can save up to $500. CGC is still taking extra precautions with in-home visits and continuing to follow CDC guidelines. Financing available with approved credit. Call 904-552-1242 for details or visit cgcwater.com. Serving Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia. CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Kinetico dealer.
Ever finally get around to trying something and it's so much better than you expected, where you're mentally kicking yourself for not doing it sooner or wondering where it's been your whole life? That's how Griffin customers feel about their Florida-rated AC. They even tell me,
we're never going back to regular AC.
And it's the same for our Florida-rated water heaters, too. It's so much better, our customers wonder why no one told them about it before. Well, we fix what others can't. Tired of having to run a shower or faucet for 3 minutes before you actually get hot water? We can fix that.
Nice.
Tired of Jacksonville's swampy hard water hurting your appliances and hair? We can fix it.
Naturally.
Tired of a tank water heater going bad every 5 to 8 years or running out of hot water?
Yep.
Griffin can fix that big time.
Oh, yeah. I never knew I could have hot water as soon as I turn on the tap.
And my hair could be so much healthier. And my appliances can last longer.
Well, you can, but only if you call
GriffinService.com.
1430-261, 1250-697.
It's been 6 months since my wife leased her new Cadillac from Fields Auto Group, and she absolutely loves it. It's our first experience with Fields, and it's been terrific. They say you can step up to luxury for less, and we did. Not just a luxury Cadillac XT6. The car is beautiful, but the customer service is extra special too. It was like that at Fields Cadillac Jacksonville, and it will be like that at any of the Fields locations in Jacksonville. Cadillac, of course, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche as well. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. We are now part of that Fields Amenities program, and my wife tried the loaner program. It was easy and a nice added benefit. So whatever you're driving, see Fields and step up to luxury for less. Check out their locations all around Jacksonville, just like we did. You can go visit fieldsauto.com.
For families worried about making ends meet, we are here. For those struggling with depression, we are here. We're also here to protect kids in crisis, assist students, and help our seniors. We're Jewish Family and Community Services, and we've been here offering support to people of every age, race, and religion for more than a century. Jewish Family and Community Services, here for all, here for Jax. Learn more at hereforjax.com.
Where else can you get luncheon, brunchin', boozin' specials? Only one place, at Cohane's Irish Pub at Atlantic Beach and on the south side. It's as Irish as you can get, owned by 4 Irish sisters. And they've got fish and chips, of course, shepherd's pie. Go today for lunch or dinner. Eat in, order out. CohanesIrishPub.com for the full menu. And try the new 5 Sisters vodka at happy hour. lunch and brunch and booze and specials, and so much more. 2 locations, Atlantic Beach and the South Side. Culhane's Irish Pub, Irish Sass with 5-star class. There is a taste of the islands in every drop of Vida de Luis tequila, imported directly from Tequila, Mexico to Jacksonville Beach. Vida de Luis is the only locally owned tequila in Jax Beach. Support local and try Vida de Luis. Award-winning, smooth, all natural, no aldehydes or additives, which means wake up feeling good the next morning. Find out where you can pick up a bottle of Vida de Luis, Blanco, Reposado, or Añejo. Just visit VitaDeLuis.com. Support local and taste the islands in every drop.
Max. At a certain point, you know it so well. It's like muscle memory. It's second nature. And you don't have to pay attention to the technique anymore. That's James Harden, the MVP of the league. And by the way, every season, he's among the finalists for MVP.
The Max Kellerman Show, weekdays at 2 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Watch exclusively on ESPN+.
Imagine that Steph Curry, Justin Tucker, and Justin Verlander all exist in a total vacuum. They don't get tired, and they're the only person in their respective places. Steph has to make 100 straight free throws. Tucker has to make 100 straight 40-yard field goals off a tee. And Verlander has to throw 100 straight strikes in the average-size strike zone at any speed he wants. You gotta pick one. Who's it gonna be?
That's off TikTok, and we haven't started ESPN 690 on TikTok yet, but it's coming soon.
You better believe
because
it.
you get quality stuff like that.
I mean, Kuz, what's up, man? Like, you found this, you listen to ASMR. You're all over the place right now in terms of crazy, theoretically question stuff.
All about the hypotheticals.
Yeah.
So, hey, 100, this is all consecutive, or who gets there first?
No, it's who, which one are you more confident it'll happen?
Yep. And
that in a row, right?
Yes.
No, consecutive.
Yes,
and they don't get tired.
And they can't get tired, so it's more just if one of them potentially misses.
This is a great question. I do like it, but I think it's a no-brainer.
Is it?
I feel like it's a no-brainer, too.
I feel like it's a no-brainer, too.
Uh-oh.
What do you...
Who's going to go first?
What do you
got? I'll go first.
Okay.
I think it's Justin Tucker.
Wow.
Absolutely wrong.
I think
Absolutely, unequivocally wrong.
I think Tucker is going to hit 100 40-yard field goals in a row, no problem, and won't get tired out.
No, that's wrong because you're not taking the weather into account. You're not taking you got to take everything into account.
What the hell? I mean, is Steph Curry going to have a moving rim in this?
Well,
this
exhibition? I think it's Steph Curry because he's actually done this before, like in consecutive games. He's gone 100 free throws in a row. So I think Curry's the one to go with.
Is it free throws or threes?
Free.
Oh, I thought it was threes. I had I thought the I didn't even listen to that part. I just thought Steph Curry 3-pointers.
No, free throw.
Oh, that does change it a little bit.
You guys are so wrong on both ends. Who works more on their craft than a pitcher throwing a ball? All Verlander has to do is play catch 100 times.
But he has to throw a strike. If it's slightly out.
But he's been doing this his entire life.
And that could also be up to the discretion of the ump there. I mean, maybe the strike zone changes a little bit.
You're playing catch for 100 times. And you're Justin Verlander. You've been doing it your entire life. And he works on this skill set every single day. How many kicks does Justin Tucker kick a day? I don't know. Maybe 30, 40?
How many times does Steph shoot free throws?
Well, to me, Steph's the outlaw. I mean, Steph's the close one. Justin Tucker, get him out of here. Not even the discussion, Brent.
I think you're wrong. I mean, Justin Tucker career field goal stats. I'm going to look him up. I guarantee he hasn't even missed from 40 yards. The guy's unbelievable.
I'm looking it up right now.
I'm trying to. Thanks for that.
I mean, we really should have did some homework on.
Nah, this isn't a homework kind of topic.
I feel like it is.
From 40 to 49, he's 87 out of 96 in his career. From 30 to 39, he's 86 out of 89.
Missing.
Yeah, there's a missing.
But you're not asking me like it has to be in a game, right? I mean, you're just talking about lining it up.
Lining it up.
Hey, I think it's Tucker
Justin Verlander's playing catch.
I think Verlander's the third one here. I don't think he's throwing 100 strikes in a row.
You're out of your. But they don't have to be that fast. It just have to be strikes. You're out of your mind.
Well, I am usually.
You're out of your mind. And Kuz, I mean, the Steph Curry, I think we can both agree on. You can probably do that.
I
right?
wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, Steph Curry, I thought you meant threes, and I was like, he's going to miss. And I know he can make a lot in a row, but I'd still put my money on Tucker.
But
All
the
right,
fact that you have to be fatigued, though. You can't say you can't be fatigued. It's got something to do with it. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, probably.
It's not like this thing really matters, so.
I know. I like the topic, though. It's fun. Good
Yeah.
job, Coos, finding that one to finish the show. From Smoothie King down here in Durban, go check out ESPN690.com. You get a free smoothie if you buy the Dream 18 card. Back at it tomorrow, 3 o'clock on ESPN 690 for Austin Lane. Coos, I'm Brent Martineau. Have a good night. We'll see you on TV, CBS 47 and Fox 30.
Life is complicated. We all know it, and all can use the proper support system. You know what else can be complicated? Owning a home. And that's why Rex was built to go beyond the simple real estate transaction. Full-service agents for buying and selling, mortgage services, insurance quotes, escrow and title, even home repair. All one call away. I guess you could call Rex your home support system and not a typical brokerage. Call 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-739-4663. Want more? Of course you do. With all that convenience comes reduced fees, too. In fact, the average Rex homeowner saves over $10,000 when buying and selling a home. Want to get started? It's never too soon. Call 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-739-4663. 833-739-4663. Florida license number CQ1057788. For further licensing disclosures, please visit rexhomes.com.
Smoothie King is blending goodness to fuel your greatness. They make sure every blend is crafted to help you achieve your health and fitness goals. Smoothie King uses whole fruits and only organic veggies. You'll never find any sugary syrups or artificial flavors, colors, or preservatives in the smoothies. And unlike some other smoothie places, there are 0 grams of added sugar in many of the blends. Skip the line and place your order online now at smoothieking.com for contactless pickup or delivery. Smoothie King, rule the day.
Firefighters, paramedics, police officers. They take care of us, and at AMCO, we're proud to take care of them. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. As an essential business, we work on every kind of car repair with flexible financing and extra safety precautions. Essential, reliable, trusted.